I see you looking at me, looking at you. Hold up, where you going? What you doing? Who you seeing? What you need? What you want? I said, without you by my side, my side, my side. Without you by my side. One time from side to side. Without you by my side, I can't go outside. Without you by my side, I can't go outside. Without you by my side, I can't go outside. One time from side to side.
Did you miss us, folks? Hopefully not too much, as your regular scheduled Tuesday action is once again back here. The Titan Esports Vanquisher League, week number 3. And I'm once again joined by my awesome pal, Golden Gad, to take you guys through another week as we are cruising into the meat and bones and potatoes of the regular season, week number 3, which brings us, or at least me, Golden Gad, my first look at a group that isn't Group A. We're going to Group C for our matchup this week. We see Flash Syndicates taking on Turbo Gaming. And I totally thought when I saw the Turbo Gaming name that it was a T1 joke, but I guess it kind of is. T3?
Yeah, their logo is oddly copyright infringing, but I think that's fine. Respect on the T1 legacy there. They do have more than 3 victories in Worlds, so I have no idea what the 3 even stands for.
Yeah, what happened to T? What about T2? Like, where did that go?
T2, T4. I mean, we got to know the lore, to be honest. I'm sure someone could shout it out in chat if they know it. Either way, I'm pretty excited. Both these teams are 2-0, so this is coming in. Both these teams have been fighting it out. They've been winning their matches, and now it's going to have to be unfortunate for one of them that they're going to have to step away with a loss coming into this week 3. So I'm very curious to see what ends up happening as far as who takes it, since not going to lie, didn't see anything from last week. So I'm going to be pretty excited this week.
Yeah, well, I can't help you out here, man. I didn't see any Group C. I think Group C is the one that, gets like switched on to shown. I don't know. That's a Chris question. That's a producer question.
I believe this is Group B, but I have no idea.
This is 100% Group C.
Okay, 100% Group C. I'm running with it. Okay, Group C. Didn't even know there was a Group C. Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure now. I'm like second guessing. No, that's definitely Group C over there. That's definitely
there is indeed a Group C. I have never scrolled to the right on this beautiful document. I am sorry, whoever put their heart and soul into it. I will now, give you your laurels.
But yes. What you can see, though, by scrolling to the side, you're going Gad with our first team we'll introduce, which is the Flash Syndicates, a team that I have seen, or org at least, that I've seen in a couple of these Diamond Leagues before. They are, you won't see it on your screen, folks, markedly going for the record that many teams try to go for in the early season. They are undefeated in game score. They are not only 2-0, but they are 4-0. So they have 2 back-to-back sweeps so far of their opponents in the rest of Group C. Looking to see how long they can ride that one out. And yeah, as fitting as it is that they have to play the other team, the only other team that is 2-0 in their entire group.
Yeah, and I think another thing to note is they went 2-0 over 2 other teams that at least got another victory. So it's not like they're beating teams that are just 0-2. At this stage, they've won a couple games against teams that are now 1-1. So, that definitely still also adds on to their legacy they're creating so far in this season. Besides that, as far as champ picks go, nothing too surprising across the board. I was scrolling through some of their OPGGs. One notable thing I'll put out there, their support player, or it looks like their top player, plays a bit of Rel. I'm not sure if that's just a secondary role support, but, who knows? Who knows? Poppy is their most played, though, so expect a bit of that. But on the other side, we got Turbo Gaming, T3. As you can see now, their logo. Take note, it's just the T from T1, and then I don't know who made that 3. To be honest. But yeah, the roster, ISTP, Nover, Cherry Kilo, Man, UTD, and C9 Juxi. Not sure if he's actually on C9. Probably not.
Probably not. I also will say that their AD carry player is definitely repping the Premier League. That is 100% him just stealing Man United.
Yep.
I would be shocked if it's not that. What is interesting to see between the two teams, though, is looking across these KDAs, and you could tell that Turbo Gaming has played so many more games this series. They've played max games. They've gone to 3 games in both of their 2 series wins, and you can tell off the KDA how much closer their games have been. On the Flash Syndicate side, I saw that the AD Carry Conveying Cup, he is currently 13 KDA in 4 games. That is an impressive number to hold up for even just a 4-game stretch, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, 13, that's pretty crazy for average of 4 games. I mean, most likely you're not dying more than once a game. I'll say that for sure. And yeah, I did check their tag. It is Man U as the hashtag. Yeah. So definitely Man United. You got they're in UEFA, right?
A Premier League, it's...
Okay, sorry, I just offended every football
It's
watcher.
fine. There's none of them here. Well, you know what? Maybe there'll be somebody, but hopefully we won't get flamed too bad. We're into the draft though. Game number 1 here on the new patch 1420 that a lot of people are still trying to figure out. Markedly saw some changes to Yone, which was going to be banned away from the Flash Syndicate side. On that blue side, we're targeting a lot of mid laners off the rip here until that Jarvan ban comes across.
Yeah, so I did take part in a different league on Thursday, and I watched the 1420 2 days after it happened. And we were seeing enchanters actually a little bit, as well as Tom Kench. So I'm kind of curious to see whether we'll see a little bit more safe on the support picks, considering, you know, 80 carries are still gutted. That hasn't really changed. Yep. If anything, they're worse. So, you know, keep it up on getting those strong supports and farming them up. You know, Janna, Lulu, those things. And Hui also was actually in one of those games as well. Seems like a pretty big, strong pick, especially if you are proficient on that champion. Very strong. The one note to put is this champ is always struggling inside lanes, post-laning phase. That'll definitely be something you need to watch out for. Ornn going to be locked up immediately. This could be a Senna Ornn. It is technically within the realm of possibility if it is going to be at first rotation this quickly, because, you know, there is that chance. So they're going to go for a flex pick plus Sejuani. Nothing too crazy. Sejuani also a flex pick, but we can ignore that for now. We'll just say it's jungle.
Okay, we'll jungle. What I take away is, man, we're already building a front line. This is I think you've built your front line actually. If you're Turbo Gaming, you could arguably just leave it here, and Ornn Sejuani certainly will be enough. Also brings you that melee factor with the Sejuani, so that brittle passive will be more effective. But I like the turn already here coming out from Adaptable Ape. He says, "All right, you want to pick the Ornn? I'll pick the most nightmarish matchup for an Ornn. Mordekaiser absolutely dookies on Ornn in lane. It's not even close."
Yeah, so that's more advocate for, like, hey, let's send the Ornn bot if the Senna doesn't get banned away here. But the Ace Soul is going to get grabbed up. Pretty surprising to see. You know, it makes sense that they'd pick mid here, but it's not exactly the safest Ace Soul game. Hui is pretty good at poking you out, and also, I mean, if you get Mordekaiser ulted, you're pretty doomed. Wukong also very easy access onto that backline. So it'll be a pretty hard game for you for Cherry Kilo, but if you can make it work, Ace Soul is definitely strong. I've even seen this champ in the jungle a little bit.
Wow.
Don't ask. Very strange. You just farm. It's like fiddlesticks. Weird. Either way, yeah. Kaisa, Callista, Pyke. Interesting ban on the Pyke. I haven't really seen that pick too much, but maybe a specialist champ for Joxy. And then Braum getting taken away. Definitely a premier support currently in the pool.
There's some pretty powerful engaged champions left up. You talked about the Rel earlier that's available. They leave the Nautilus up. Both sides do as well. Thresh and Blitzcrank. All the hook champions except Pyke, who throws a harpoon. So if you want to get technical, not even technically a hook champion. It is off the board. The Jinx going to be locked in by Turbo Gaming. And the Aphelios, who I have heard be called the worst AD carry currently in the game on 14-19, by many, is locked in.
You know, if you believe hard enough, you can make any champ work. So
that's true.
They're going to go for Aphelios Seraphine, which at least puts some power in the lane. Seraphine, obviously extremely strong in the state, to the point where she's probably a better AD carry than Aphelios is.
She is.
Actually 100%, but, you know, they're just going to supplement that, and we're going to see Tom Kench Jinx. We're going old school.
This is like... This is, if we leave lane not down a gargantuan amount of gold, Turbo 3 think they can just team fight Turbo 3. This is what you get for doing that acronym, by the way. Turbo Gaming are just gonna run like this is the most stock standard team fight, protect 2 carry, scale to infinity comp you can ever get right here.
Yeah, and I mean, with Aphelios, do I blame them? I don't know. I mean, it's like they picked Aphelios. Hui also does pretty bad in mid game. Yeah, he scales back up again during late game, but it's going to be pretty scary. So I think if this top lane doesn't go disastrously, they should be fine. But it's definitely going to be a tough one here. If you are, I mean, either of these teams, to be honest, it's whoever, you know, T3 has their own condition, just survive early game. Evas has their own condition, just stomp early game. So they're really playing 2 sides of a different coin here.
And now we're on to the Rift. With that, we will see if the ticking time bomb of the Turbo Gaming comp can just scale their way on through, or if we're going to see the Flash Syndicate side take some of their advantageous matchups and run with them. Golden Gad obviously highlighted the top side as that most powerful part, and it's important to remember the Flash Syndicates are still unbeaten in any games in the Vanquisher League. We have the Pro Crops draft store actually giving a slight edge to the Flash Syndicate side. Golden Gad, I will tell you, last week the streak was broken of Pro Comps calling the winner of the game. It was 4 games in a row for me before it got broken.
I mean, I will say, like last season, the Pro Comps was wrong all the time. So, you know, shout out to Pro Comps. No, but in reality, it's a pretty close stream here. So, or not stream, a prediction, and that's kind of how it's laid out. I can't really think of a good favorite here. I think both teams, since they are playing quite standard, no lane swap shenanigans, nothing like that. Like, it really is just who outplays early to either survive or dominate. So we'll have to see. Obviously, Tom Kench does provide a lot of survivability in these lanes, also a bit of kill threat. But if you're dying as Seraphine, Aphelios, you got bigger problems to worry about.
100%. And it will take, in this new patch, markedly so much longer for Conveyable Cub and Man United to ever really come online. These two champions, I like to make the joke that both of them need 4 items now to be effective, but it's mostly just the fact that their gold econ is going to take them forever, as I predict both champions will try to buy the most expensive item in the game, which is that Infinity Edge. So we'll see how long it takes for either one of those to scale up, because they are most certainly the primary AD damage for both of these teams.
If I don't see Coles, I know everyone is, so there's some people who hate Cole, but you really should just buy Cole. I find it very unlikely that you're dying in most of these scenarios unless, the junglers do show up. So definitely something I'd look towards, at least to get closer to that very expensive target. And T3, they need to get there as quickly as possible. Asol's not doing you any favors in this mid game. Not the weakest champ, definitely can struggle against Hui. Wukong still level 3, 315, so clear's going about as anticipated. We're going to have a split map here, top bot. Pretty crucial that Mordekaiser doesn't die. You do want this to be your strong side, so not having the jungler here early game means you have to make sure that you don't die early. Could really sway how this game goes. They're going to spot Nova on the ward there, just going to grab a scuttle and move it on. Yeah, very good timing there.
Yeah, I like this Wukong pick a lot for the Aurelion Soul specifically. I think Wukong is a really pesky champion for Aurelion Soul to ever deal with the clone, with the dashes, with the knockup. So curious to see how much Board decides to knock on Cherry Kilo's door. As we have an Abyssal Dive coming through for Jay Joxy. He wants the engage on a Conveyable Cub. Stacks up the passive, but can't get close enough. Does hit the stun with the Tongue Lash, but like we talked about, not a whole lot of real damage in this lane on either side, so it's just a trade.
Yeah, good trade. They are burning through the Seraphine mana pool. Obviously Jinx as well, but I think it's pretty crucial. If you ever want to go for a dive at some point, you need the Seraphine not to have mana, or at least have some sort of reduced resource there. So it's not the worst to just go for that heavy trade, but it looks like they were trying to go for a reset here. Sejuani's just going to claim with this Gromp. I think it's just pretty uncontested. So actually a nice look here from Nova, realizing the split map. Will be close. Smite is up though, so should be secured. Yep, secured, and just gonna go for a quick recall here, as not important. Sadly, walks to the the gone Gromp.
It's like he knows that Norver was in that bush and just did not want to clone walk over. He's like, you know what, I lost. I'm gonna let him recall. Unfortunately for you, my friend, not important. You do make the obviously good read of, all right, maybe there's camps to steal on his quadrant. Oh. Well, he's been blessed by a spawn timer.
Yep. Let's go. Riot. Shout out Riot. Junglers don't have to count seconds anymore. They could just wait for the hourglass to show up on the map. Make it easy for you. One interaction I'm actually curious about is, does Aurelion Soul's Black Hole get stacks from Wukong clone?
Huh. I would assume so. That's a quality question. Because Wukong's clone is such a unique entity in the game, right? Hold on. That's Spiraling Despair. If Terry hits the Severing Bolt... Okay, yeah, that Severing Bolt would have... Yeah, really close. But no Summoner's Burn, just a casual glide out for Cherry Kilo. Does not have Teleport, though, so this is going to be a rough lane for the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, I had to burn it early. Luckily, Asol's pretty fast to come back to lane with the help of the W, but with it getting committed, doesn't have it anytime soon. Needs to clear out some of the wave. Just gonna go for a reset. But this is what Hui's really good at. You could just shove the wave instantly, as a lot of the new mid laners are actually. You could just, hey, we just have shove for free. Think of Aurora, Hui, you know, maybe that's just the new theme here.
Yeah, even like Syndra Orianna can really get the wave
Oh,
going
yeah.
too if they need to. We saw Nova try to get going on that dragon, but maybe the mid-prio loss hurt them. The roams. We saw Joxy and Man United were pretty split up, so basically a wasted attempt on that dragon, and key's not important to say, all right, well, I'm the one with prio, so that dragon going to be taken right around the 7-minute mark for the side of Flash Syndicate.
Yeah, and this is kind of what you expect. I think this is going as intended. You have some CS leads across the board, and you're also able to claim up some of these early objectives because you're drafting a Soul Jinx. So you really don't have prio at any point in the game. So, well, till late game,
Right.
which at that point doesn't matter. So, you know, they are playing well here. Flash.
Not important, just waited, got a Scuttle Crab gifted to him. Now looks for the re-engage on Man United, who has been against the wall, has to burn the flash as Bento roams over. Not important to follow, and the Severing Bolt from Terry was way too clean. Easy punish for Flash Syndicate, gets him on the board for first blood.
Yeah, nice acquisition there of gold. So they're just going to move along, get that extra, about 600 gold into their
-1.
pockets. And, okay, yeah, we -1 here. That's fine. I like that.
I've got a humble Terry.
I did get flamed once in chat. They were like, why are you calling -1? Oh, that's another one. Ooh. Okay, these are not cannons. It's fine.
Yeah. Anybody getting upset about -1ing players gets upset when they miss They miss too many cannons. That's my rule.
true,
If you're getting on casters for -1ing people, then you miss too many cannons. Focus on your own waves, bro.
Stay in your lane. No. Yeah, I think this game's gonna be pretty chill. I'm curious if they're able to get the first set of grubs here for Flash. I think they should, since Seraphine is in this top quadrant right now, and Ophelio should be able to just catch this wave real quick and not really have any threat for the next 2 minutes. But it looks like Tahm Kench is walking. Joxy wants to put a little bit of pressure on the top side, but can you really take a fight against Wukong Mordekaiser pre-20 minutes?
No, especially once you get Mordekaiser to the death row. You can just force a 1v1 with whoever he knows he can beat. They do have a ward on these grubs. Nova's going to slide on over. Didn't even try to rhyme there, by the way, just for the record. But Doxy left, so they're going to give away those grubs. They're looking for a play in mid. They get the Glacial Prison down. They get the Star Stun as well, and Terry's just stun locked. So great pivot there from T3 to get themselves on the board.
Yeah, that was actually a great chaining of CC. They landed the Glacial Prison into the Abyssal Dive, into the whatever star move that is.
I think it's
the meteorite.
Starfall when it's not upgraded to
Starfall,
Sky's Ascent.
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your job.
That is in fact my job. You're correct.
So it was just a nice layering of CC there, and I think it was a little disrespectful from Terry, since you cannot see where the Tahm Kench or the Sejuani are on the map. You probably should respect it, considering your jungler and top laner are definitely on a ward and also, exposing themselves. So a little bit of a blunder, but it's not going to be too costly since you do grab up those grubs. And we already established they don't really have the best side laning on either of these teams, but I'd much rather have a Mordekaiser than an Ornn. So.
Without a doubt. You see both mid laners picking up those early kills to put themselves in scaling positions. As markedly, this is another lane where it's pretty similar, the damage profiles and the scaling profiles. We talked about the 80 carries. They're both going to play the same game, which is survive the backline until they can get a kill and reset. And same with the mid laners. How far back can we play in dishing out a ton of damage? So we'll see how this 1v1 evolves. Do see Terry taking a lick of damage, but yeah, we're in for another patient game, especially because neither of these teams have really made too many key mistakes outside of Terry getting picked. So just farm it up, I guess, boys. I don't really know where the analysis goes from here.
This is a pretty tight ship here, I'd say, for both teams. Definitely, this is what you like to play. This is the NA style. Just scale up, win the game. That's how it goes. Whoever plays better in the crucial team fights will end up grabbing it. But I do like how T3 isn't over-forcing. That is definitely something I've seen a lot, where you pick scaling and you don't respect the fact that you're scaling. and you're supposed to drop objectives, and they just fight anyway. So I do like at least they know their identity very well. So I'd say well done there. Looks like they want to force something on Terry again. Terry kind of walking close, but not important in the area.
This is a catch-22 scenario, yeah, because Terry's going to go in and drop his damage, but the jungler is behind Terry. I don't think Nova are expecting it. Rocket comes from God knows where. Glacial Prison down with the extra damage over top. Missile Dive will not land. Not important, flashing away from that one. Certainly a funny interaction, though, with the fact both junglers decided to gank at the exact same time without knowing the other one was going for it.
Yeah, so I'd say that still works out here for T3. I think that was very close to being a kill. They also ended up getting the Wukong flash, which is really crucial for upcoming fights. You know, whether or not T3 actually contests for any of these objectives definitely makes it easier if they do want to with that no Wukong flash. It makes it a lot harder to get on Asol in particular.
Really impressed so far by Joxy recognizing his roam timers, too. He's left lane at perfect spots where Man United has really not been in a precarious spot ever to get jumped, so he roams mid and helps impact those mid lane plays. Dragon is the next ire when it comes here for the Flash Syndicate. They are going to comfortably just 4-stack this one up. Joxy spots them out, but Nova is not coming off the Gromp, so opening Drakes over to Flash Syndicate. They've got the Grubs and the first two, really dominating that neutral objective category, knowing that they are more powerful in this phase of the game.
Yeah, and I mean, this is how this goes. Not important to get caught out.
Cyclone?
Way around.
I don't even know if Cherry Kilo got knocked up. That looked interesting, but ult still comes out. Not enough damage on the Hui yet, though, to carry a kill over.
Yeah, Hui really needs those first two items, I'd say, before he's really one-tapping people. For now, he's just an annoyance, kind of like Ziggs. So, yeah, they're going to be able to claim up these grubs. You know, you gotta have to just surrender it. They picked the Mordekaiser Wukong as very early on in the draft. This is kind of what they knew they were going to play through. And they have the scaling bot that hasn't really been dove at all. I'd say definitely could have been the weakest point of that team comp, but they were really trying to just protect Asol here as their trade-off. Say, okay, we'll just have both AD carries play pretty safe. Do I see that item correctly? I thought this item is terrible. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
All right, yeah, 1v1s. Lethal tempo, barriers, rockets, everything's flying, but it's Conveyable Cub that picks up the kill. 13 KDA, shown off for a reason. He's getting flanked by two, but he's got a teleport coming across. It's Adaptable Ape to join the fight, going to get matched by Orange teleport. Glacial Prison going to land for Nova, and Conveying Cub should fall, gets smited down. Adaptable Ape now into a 1v1 of his own versus ISTP. It's not going to be a 1v1 for long here. Pops out of the Death Realm to find two members waiting for him. Bento on the other side, healthfully healing and shielding. There's a Devour as well from Joxy as he tries to get his Sejuani out with a chunky shield. The damage just isn't too plentiful right now for these fights to explode just yet.
Yeah, pretty well played there, T3. They do end up 1-for-1 overall, but you know, a little bit more resources, I'd say, blown here for Flash. Just with committing the TB, but they might be able to get the first turret here. Joxy.
Gray health is a hell of a drug. Keeps Joxy topped up for now. Nova is thinking about repaying a visit down here with Man United back. But nobody's got really any ultimates to play. And now I do see what you're talking about. I actually cannot... Conveyable Cub. What is the name of that item again? I keep wanting to call it...
Wild Arrows?
I keep wanting to call it... Yeah, I think it's Yuntal. It's something like that. That item is...
I heard it has a percent chance to stack. It's not like it will stack when you auto. It has a percent chance to stack.
That's certainly very
intriguing. And that is not in the tooltip, which is what I heard, which could be completely wrong because I believe it was on Twitter, X, you know.
Right.
Not a reliable source. Do not quote me on this. However, that is just what I've observed. If that is the case, this item's probably terrible. I want to see the stats on it at the end of the game, but we'll have to see if that's possible.
We'll learn together. Yeah, we'll learn together and see. Conveyable Cub's damage certainly seemed powerful enough when he fought Man United, but that is
who had
Jinx.
No item.
Yeah, who had no item too. So maybe not the best way to factor it in. Saw a Rift Herald take come across here for Flash Syndicate as they... Oh no, actually, excuse me, that's Turbo Gaming who get their first neutral objective. That's been what's mostly impressive for me with Flash Syndicate. Obviously, when you see a team that's 2-0, 4-0 in game score, you come in as a caster, do you try and figure out what's most impressive? Are they just hands-diffing teams? I actually find it more impressive that Flash Wolves are not hands-diffing in this game.
We're going straight to Taiwan.
Dang it, Flash Syndicate. I find it impressive that Flash Syndicate is not hand sniffing this one. They've actually just been dominating these neutral objectives, and while the gold lead doesn't reflect how much of a lead they have, the fact they can play 6 grub and Drake stacking is really powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I think they are playing pretty well. I think both these teams have been showing up. They committed to try and saving their AD carry, and I think most of the time people will drop it. But since they actually got the bot lane turret, it still worked out in the extended play. They could have gotten more in a different circumstance with it. But they burned a bunch of flashes, so I'd say pretty well played. Not important. Looking for ISTP.
Yep, Ornn soaking up that pressure, taking a ton of autos from not important, but does have a tank item behind him, so we'll just get backed off the wave here. We'll see a play come mid lane though to Available Cub, as once again it's another beautiful Glacial Prism for Nover to set up an easy kill, and they get it on the Jinx finally. Man United on that scaler picks up the first kill, picks up the mid tier 1 turret. They're dropping Shelly. They're going all in to influence as much gold as possible down and open this map up for the mid lane. It's only Bento to respond first. A flank is sort of materializing from not important, but there is no Cyclone on this Wukong, so going in is ill-advised. And that becomes 2 kills, or sorry, a kill and 2 turrets, one of those being a tier 2 turret, but here comes the flank we're waiting for. Adaptable Ape steps up, Trade teleports behind, Man United flashing out the Crushing Maw, creating a good amount of space, but now the frontliners go toe-to-toe. Keep an eye on Man United, who's still on the wrong side of this fight, but might just make it the right side on his own, zoning off so many members. Adaptable Ape gonna pop out from the Death Realm with that solo kill, and it's the Sky's Descent to bail out Cherry Kilo. It's a great devour from Joxy to make sure Man United gets out until the root comes across into the encore combo. See you later, Man United. ISTP gonna fall as well. And Flash Syndicates finally capitalize on those blinking health bars to sway this game back in their favor.
Yeah, their dueling strength as a core is just much stronger than the rest of T3s, because Man United play that about as well as you could, and I'd say it still didn't really matter. You don't have the damage at this point on the Jinx to actually be able to shred through anyone, and they really only get the first kill. They did manage to break through all of mid, but the one thing to note about when you break two turrets in mid without breaking any of your side turrets is that now Flash just have a free lane to farm. That is just how that goes, because you don't have the kind of outer turrets to be able to actually establish a vision line. So they really need to go grab those if you are T3. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty hard to stick onto Flash as they have a pretty free lane to just farm for the rest of the game for for quite a while. So yeah, but I'd say well played. I think opening up on the play kind of demonstrated what I was talking about. Like, Sejuani can just repeat dive this Aphelios like over and over, and there really is nothing you can do because Joxy has the Devour to bail out anyone who maybe overstays under turret. But you know, that is now an angle that's open, I feel.
Without a doubt, easy angle that is open. Here's an angle that's not open. Trying to kill Adaptable Ape. This Mordekaiser is crazy fed. Up 60 CS, first 1 to 2 items. Those 2 items being a really big spike. The rallies for Mordekaiser is, just you could stick on whoever you want with that, right? And you force a 1v1 that you're going to win with anybody else. You're going to pop out with inflated stats most of the time with your W stacked up. I am just as worried. This is almost be like patting myself on the back going again, because I knew this Mordekaiser matchup would be terrible, and it might be the thing that really breaks Turbo Gaming's game 1 here in my mind.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair.
Look at the gold.
Would have been, yeah, that is definitely devastating. I've gotten Mordekaisered a couple times in my day. -1 though. Did you see that?
I did see that. I am also notably, everyone gets, flexed out of their role when they queue for ranks sometimes. And so whenever I play top, this is the only guy that I play because it's this easy if you get the matchup you want.
Yeah, definitely one of those counter pick Zerg champs, for sure. And you're seeing it really pay off. I think also the identity is pretty good. Mordekaiser extremely good into melee champions for the most part, mainly because of that passive, and also, hey, you don't have to go chase someone down just to get them to go into the Death Realm because they want to also hit you in the face. Yep. So that makes it a lot easier. I will say, I think one crucial part that makes this a lot harder for T3 is that they are running Sejuani, which this champ has been nerfed an excessive amount of times at this point. But
Caster Curse, Caster Curse. Golden Gad's got a Caster Curse.
I was getting there. I was about to say, Sejuani is now an ult bot because you really have zero fighting power anymore. You are a complete ult bot, Maokai style jungler at this point. And it does work, but it definitely hinders your ability to fight for any objectives early on. But it's going to be Baron here.
Yeah, speaking of objectives, Man United's already have HP. Here's Adaptable Ape with a huge flank. Doesn't get anybody on the E pullback. Hit the Encore onto Nova, who's already far too low. The Severing Bolt will find it for Terry. Turbo Gaming indexed 1 kill into way too much, and now they are going to pay the Pied Piper. The Spiraling Despair is going to miss, but Jay Joxley should still fall. And now the Baron turns its eye to a different opponent as Flash Syndicate find 3 kills on the Broken Baron play from T3.
Yeah, just I'd say overambitious for sure. You get one pick off of a pretty nice rotation there on the jungler, and you just start Baron, which at this point you're still not stronger. You need 2 more items on Jinx and probably 1.5 on Aesol before you're really shredding anyone, and definitely not the Mordekaiser. So that's something you just constantly have to be wary of. And with no Sejuani ultimate, you really can't turn onto this super long range Hwei or even the Aphelios, really, because you're not going to be able to have any CC that really sticks. You can maybe combo the Horn into like a knockup from Tahm Kench, but after that, it's kind of free reign for the rest of the fight. And Seraphine is extremely good at just disengaging fights and kind of getting away from this singular threat after the Sejuani ult is committed.
Yeah, you pointed out a little bit going out with the range, but gotta give more credit to Flash Syndicate recognizing how to beat the most tried and true scaling team fight team comp they got into. The range is one aspect, and the Mordekaiser taking away one frontliner makes it really impossible for Turbo Gaming to ever play how they want to, because they're going to lose one of their Ornn or their Sejuani, and then they're going to get rooted up, slowed up, charmed by the Hwei, by the Seraphine, and the Aphelios will bring the damage over top. So this comp is really rolling, and the Flash Syndicates are going to roll it to try and see if they can play for Soul here. Adaptable Ape, level 14, 3 items, I believe, just so tanky now with the Spirit Visage he's trying to build up. Can just sit on the front line, dragging the spawn. This is the game, folks. Turbo Gaming have to keep this Hextech Soul off of Flash Syndicate with the Baron. And they're going to play 4v5 for now. Adaptable Ape does pull ISTP into the Death Realm, so they got that 1v1 going on. Cyclone on the back line as Bento and Convertible Cup come down to try and get to the Jinx Aphelios, who are desperately trying to kite back. They do pick up the kill on Non-Poor, gets Man United a big reset, but the Hwei and the Seraphine's damage is just completely uncapped. Cherokilo trying to burn through with the Breath of Light, but gets flashed on and killed off by Terry. And Man United becomes the one to find the first kill and be the last one to survive. Barely dodging on the Severing Bolt, but it's forward as Flash Syndicate. It's Hextech Soul at 24 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the gold lead plus the dragon lead with Soul for Hextech must be like at least 4K worth of gold value, to be honest. So, I mean, I'd say at this point, the team that is designed just to outstat you to be able to win is so far behind. It's going to be so long before you're actually going to be able to outstat this Flash Syndicate team. So I feel like it's kind of just out of reach for the most part. Obviously, never say never. You have Aesol. A big Descending Skies definitely could change the tide, but at this point you're going to need a lot of time, and I don't know if Flash Syndicate's really been playing flawed enough to actually give them that time that they need to scale up. But there is no objectives for quite a while, so at least that gives a bit of breather here for T3. So yeah, I'm concerned for sure.
Yeah, I think concerned. I'm ringing every alarm bell you got for game 1. That's for sure. Concerned is the nicer way of putting it, in my mind. I will say the one silver lining of that Dragon fight was that you did force Flash Syndicate to use all their Baron time on not pushing waves, so that will stall out a bit longer like you were talking about. But we're still waiting on a whole full item from Jinx. It's going to take her a while to go for what I assume that pickaxe is going to be an IE. And we do not have the Leandries done on Cherokilo. And also, the big beefy frontlines itemization isn't really there just yet, so they kind of lose the frontline battle as well at this current moment. Oh, that's a snipe encore from Bento, but not enough damage. We see the Moonlight Vigil go wide from Conveyable Cup, so just a couple of key ultimates down for Flash Syndicate's actually going to ruin this push because they play reserved enough and they don't want to give any advantages back over to T3.
Yeah, I really want to see Asol just conserve the Skies Descend. I think they're trying to get it out of him because that is a huge cooldown, but it looks like they actually just want to go for the fight here.
Here's the ult bot Nova going in onto Bento. They get the knockups chain, but the Seraphine able to cleanse with the locket and get back to safety. More healing and shielding coming across. Both top laners join the fray. Adaptable Ape on the front line. Big knockups coming across on both sides. It's who can dish out the damage first, and it's so far the Aphelios and Hui that are handling business once more. Man United on the side in a 1v1. He does not walk. Available Cup picks that one up. Flash away for Cherry Kilo. Health bars blinking across the front line of Turbo Gaming once more. But they're still standing here trying to fight to hold this tier 2 top lane turret. But ISTP is far too low. Joxy taking a ton of damage. The wave comes up, and the Grub's going crazy. They'll finally have to sacrifice that turret and huddle back towards their base.
Yeah, the survivability with, just outstatting plus the Seraphine is really making it extremely hard for the Asol to actually be able to do any damage that sticks in this fight. Another crucial moment there in that last fight was Joxy ults ISTP to get him out, but at the exact same time, Adaptable Ape goes forward, finds the E onto Man United, and you pick the Tahm Kench to protect the AD carry, and I just watched the AD carry get left for dead.
Yeah, you're breaking the golden rule.
Yeah, a Tahm Kench sits on the AD carry. That's how that is the golden rule.
You can't break the golden rule with Golden Gad watching, guys. Come on.
Yeah, your AD carry is your golden egg. If you break it, it's just all over.
Definitely couldn't have said it better myself with where Man United is compared to the rest of his team. Two of the three components of that IE done. They still have yet to surrender an inhibitor, but we've reached the timer on the no objectives to play for route. Baron in about 20 seconds feels like a guarantee for Flash Syndicate.
Yeah, and that's a second Baron, plus also that the Asol has no Skies Descent anymore, did end up committing it at the end of the fight just to disengage, so it's going to be pretty tough now. They need to, I think at this point, you just have to give, maybe find one pick, get out, or it might be the target.
Yep, can they burn through his health bar for Seraphine? Nope, Bento bails him out, hits a double encore into the Sprouting Despair. That is a clutch combo from the two AP damage dealers. Good Devour comes out from Joxy, will bail Man United out for now, but spits him out into a Severing Bolt. Perfectly timed by Terry, and now Flash Syndicate are just going to run down the last member, Cherry Kilo, trapped in the Death Realm with nowhere to exit but a gray screen. Ace over to Flash Syndicate. The 4-0 game score team looks just as polished as they've been through 2 weeks. And they're going to handle business to go up 1-0.
Yeah, pretty clean game. I'd say no real big errors from Flash Syndicate here, and you're going to have to reconsider your strategy here, T3. They need something to play through. It's whether it's a jungler, whether it's a different support pick. They had a very heavy front line. Just they lacked a lot of damage because they didn't have anything to play through. Something like a stronger jungler definitely would have been beneficial here, since you have a lot of setup in these lanes. To some degree. Yeah, the Sejuani was probably the only strong point with the help of those Glacial Prisons, but as I said, they've nerfed this champ to the point where you're not getting any damage out of her. She is just simply a bot that clicks R, which we have a couple of those champions that are quite good. We got like Vi in the mix there. We got Maokai. They work, but you gotta have something you're using these ult bots for. So 6.8k. What am I talking about? It's like Tahm Kench. Okay, the graph's a little off, but Tahm Kench was very close, and that is a support.
Yeah. Hey, gotta love when the stats back up your talking points there, Golden Cat. I will say, though, you made the good point. There always are champions in League where they're just all old base, so you gotta have some of them. Unfortunately, it is Sejuani. These charts, there's a ton of awesome stats. I love the graphics. You don't need to look at them. This game was a blowout. All the graphics are just going to support this was a complete blowout. And Flash Syndicates are just maybe the best team in Vanquisher League right now. And definitely the best team. That was the most polished game I've seen from any team so far across the 3 weeks of casting.
Yeah, and it's not like T3 was making mistakes. They were playing pretty bog standard League of Legends for the level we expect at Vanquisher. I think they had good roams. They matched lanes at proper times. It's just such a big difference in the actual identities of these two teams that really made it hard for them to play, and the only way T3 was going to make it is if Flash Syndicate made some mistakes, and it didn't happen. So well played there, and they're going to take game 1 pretty convincingly.
But game one does not decide the series. As you all know, by this point, we are in the business of best of threes. And the added coin of winning or losing game one is that you get the side selection available to you. So we'll see if Turbo Gaming want to force Flash Syndicate onto that red side, or if they're more comfortable counter picking with that coveted R5 pick. All that coming your way and more after a scheduled break. We'll see you guys just after it.
All my life, by my side. All my life, all my one time from side to side. Without you by my side, my side, my side. Without you by my side. One time from side to side. Peekaboo, I see you, peekaboo, I see you. Looking at me, looking at you. Hold up, where you going? What you doing? Who you seeing? What you need? What you want? I said, without you by my side, my side, my side. Without you by my side. One time from side to side. Without you by my side, I can't go outside. Without you by my side, I can't go outside. Without you by my side, I can't go outside. One time from side to side.
can see my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect.
Hope the extended break wasn't too harsh on you guys. I know Golden Ghetto's over here absolutely mogging on me, winning the guess the skin game. So this guy's pissing me off already on breaks. Nah, I'm kidding. But hopefully Turbo Gaming is a little pissed off after how they lost that game one, Golden Gad, because that was not close at all.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, it was a pretty big blowout. I'd say they just need to change the comp. I'd say they played pretty well. Maybe some of the skirmishes could have been played a little bit differently, or the positioning. Like, for instance, in particular, I feel like Asol didn't really feel like it was connected with the rest of the team. Could just be a champion choice. You know, it's not exactly the easiest champion to play around when you aren't fed. You gotta put down once you put down the black hole, you got nothing left. You're fending for yourself. So I totally get it. Maybe with a couple of different champion choices, they'll be able to kind of come ahead. And one thing to note, they did swap sides here, so T3 will be on that blue side. So they're going to get first pick prio. I'm very curious on what they're going to pick in this one of the first series for Vanquisher here on 1420. You don't really know what exactly are all the power picks at this point, especially because pros are still playing on 14, I don't know, 14, 15,
18,
16,
17, something.
Who knows? That's an ancient patch at this point. So, you really got to kind of figure out what things are strong. I'm sure things like Aurora are still very strong. Hasn't been nerfed enough to the point where I feel like it's out of the meta. Does require very polished piloting. Some other champs that come to mind, Silas, we talked about it on the break. I don't know if it's definitely not a first pick champ. Do not first pick that champion, but definitely is strong.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder. I haven't seen a ton of teams in Vanquisher do it, but on this patch, like, you can certainly get away with potentially blinding a Yone B1, then picking whether you want to send it top or mid, and then you could pick any of those AP carry champions that are good right now, and it pisses me off, but they're all really good. So you could just throw AP in the bottom lane, pick Yone, pick Yasuo mid lane. Like, Yasuo's really viable right now. You can get flexible with where your damage profiles come from. That's the one benefit of Marksman being absolute dog right now. And
yeah,
you know what? You got to lean meta when you're down 0-1. So I can't believe I'm saying this as an 80 carry player for 7 years. Don't pick a Marksman, Turbo Gaming.
True.
Don't pick one.
I mean, so we went through the list a little bit during break. I'll just list out the highest win rate 80 carries. We got Swain, Brand, Seraphine, Hui, hey, Neela on the board. Does she really count?
That's my
Lux,
reaction to this list.
and then AP Kog'Maw just for fun.
Still AP, so I don't even count it. It's basically just playing. It's basically just playing like Xerath W with an ult. That's like all you're doing.
Yep.
Like, what guys? It's so sad. But at least I'll give it. I'll stop being the hater. At least it's different. Because we did come from we have in a time period of about 3 to 4 months gone from marksmen are so good you need to pick 2 of them to now they're so bad that you don't pick any of them.
Ah, you could still pick Ash. She could.
Yeah, Ash,
Pew!
Jin.
She shoots an arrow. No, Jin's. I swear to God, this champ's dead. After the last patch, I swear to God, this champ's terrible. But
I mean,
people will still play it just because it still has the utility of
yeah,
long
that's
range.
what I'm
But
talking about.
damn, the damage is just gone. It's just completely
It's all
wiped
gone.
out. Yeah.
You don't deal any damage until you're like 5 items, and then
Do you
most of the
really?
time by that point, that's the thing, right? Because if you're 5 items, all the tanks are probably 4, and then you're just like not killing them. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a wacky world.
I feel your heart on your sleeve right now, and
Yes,
it's very unfortunate.
I cannot play the champion that I am arguably an OTP player on because it just does not do damage. Gonna look at
Which
the
champ is that? Oh, Ezreal, right?
Ezreal,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
Ezreal.
Yeah.
Just, good luck.
I don't know,
man.
man. I just watched Worlds. Who was it? Just Elk just smurfed on G2. It's kind
Yeah,
of
but
crazy.
that's World Patch. Like, yeah, I was playing him on 14-18.
Okay.
You know?
True.
I'm seeing Ezreal players get so psychotically mind broken that they're playing AP Ezreal, where your job is just to W somebody and then you arcane shift forward and pray they don't one shot you.
Hey, what about we go all the way back, tank Ezreal, baby.
Oh my god, bring me back to Ezreal where I hit Qs and I get like 12 different actives on my.
Oh, true.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
Hit
I
a
mean,
Q, here's a health pot.
Yeah, my favorite AD carry has just been in a weird spot forever. Well, not forever, just for quite a while. It's been Caitlyn. I don't know. That champ's just in a weird spot. You would think she's not bad because there's a lot of mage marksman. Okay, marksman is, I don't know what to call it. Bot lane. Mage
APCs,
bot lane.
I don't know, yeah.
You would expect Caitlyn to do okay, but it's no damage. I don't know. It's a weird spot for sure that AD carries find themselves in. However, support is broken. So
True.
Feed the supports. That's how it goes.
Feed the supports indeed. Now, there's not too many like high stakes implications just yet. Like we've talked about, Vanquisher League is 7 weeks of regular season play. We're at 3. But it definitely feels like this is the spot for Flash Syndicates to try and break away from the group, try and gain, play for that seed 1 spot from Group C, because like we talked about, these are actually the only 2 undefeated teams in the group. So to go 3-0 with a 6-0 game record, even if it is early, like Flash Syndicates are already treading towards locking up the number 1 seed the way they're playing.
Yeah, and with that, we're going into draft. Let's see what T3 has for their first pick. Obviously, we're going to have to go through bans first, but I'm really curious. Aurora going to be the first thing banned. Seems like they can't play it, so they're not going to go for that as their first pick. Kind of sucks because, you do want to have a flexible pick as your first pick. Yone going to get taken off the board. These are pretty much exactly the same as last game so far. No real surprise here. Both these champs extremely flexible in both roles and can dominate. Yone obviously requires a lot more skill to pilot after some of the nerfs he received indirectly, if anything. I know he got buffed, kind of. He's in a weird spot. Ari definitely also pretty strong. Has a ton of wave clear again, but maybe some of the damage is lacking in mid game, so that's definitely a problem. Ashe, the only AD carry we said as viable that isn't Neela, so getting taken off the board. So hey, it's okay. We'll play Jinx Aphelios again, right?
No, I hope not. I really hope not. Only difference ban we see here, some respect over to Adaptable Ape. Take that Mordekaiser off the board, because if you can win Mordekaiser on blue side, it can be even better on red side. It's honestly a red side champion. That's a good B1. Syndra. Now, I will say this because I have been a gremlin forced to play this. She's very good in the AP carry role right now. I'm just saying, this might not be a mid lane pick.
I mean, Syndra's been she was like the OG I play mages in bot lane pick like 5 years ago. So seeing it as a flex pick definitely happened. Skarner, this is a champion that you should generally just play over Sejuani if you have the option.
Yes.
Does not have as safe of an engage, but definitely has a much more potent one. Can disengage, can engage, can do it all. Now that is a singular champion. That is Vi. You know exactly what Vi is going to do, and it makes sense when you are against the Orianna. However, this does leave the Nocturne up, and available for the Ori. I mean, you have Skarner, so it's very unlikely unless Skarner gets flexed, but you could technically still go that way. They're going to go for the Kaisa, so we're going full dive, full burst. You got the Syndra, the Vi, the Kaisa, they want to one-shot. And Kaisa, I think, is in a pretty good state. She's obviously building hybrid. Oh, and they listened to me. Look at that.
Wow, yeah. You know, it was funny because I was going to say, one of my friends, Quax, is actually a hater of Nocturne right now, and he likes to say, Skarner's a better ball delivery system than Orianna, but you can't beat the OG, so we're throwing... I've got to think this means my best bet is Adaptable Ape's going to play the Skarner top, though don't count out the crazy Skarner support, because...
It has gotten nerfs over the years. Or not years, literally this year.
Yeah.
When it first came out, complete menace, had infinite mana, just clicks W and E on you whenever he feels like it. But now you have to play a lot more reserve. You cannot just spam your abilities. You have to actually be a little bit more calculated. So I could see it going both ways, and definitely could see it going to last pick where for the win they decide for it. So I expect an 80 carry pick here. You have the Kaisa, so very aggressive in the bot lane, and you don't really have too much safety, and they're going to go for Sivir.
Okay.
Which can actually get away from just Vi clicking R on you, which really puts a bullet or a target really on Orianna's back. That is the champion you will be clicking R on as this Vi. And T3 is going to stay strong with the Ornn in the top side. They like that scaling option. A little bit more prio since they do have the Syndra and the Kaisa, so I like it a little bit more in this position, and they needed some sort of front line, and they're going to combo that over with the Alistar.
Okay, so yeah, we've got a lot of bodies that are going to be able to throw themselves in. It's just thrown in. The only person that's going to stand back a little bit is going to be Cherry Kilo on the Syndra, who will just be dishing out the absurd damage Syndra gets to. Braum going to be locked in alongside that Sivir. Yeah, this is just there's a lot of nullifying going on here for Flash. They're just nullifying the power of the Vi. They're nullifying the power of the Syndra's burst, nullifying the threat of Kaisa diving to your backline. I see the vision, but it's once again Flash Syndicate that are just adapting in a draft really correctly.
Yeah, I mean, Braum denies the Ornhorn. That's the easiest engage in the world for Flash Syndicate, because you don't have to commit a body to do an Ornhorn. And last game they had the Mordekaiser roll, but this game they're going for the Braum. So they really have a nice angle on, hey, this is exactly what we want to do to kind of deny this pick, and they're executing it well. Adaptable Ape will be taking the Skarner's top side, so gonna be a pretty safe pick, I'd say, especially into the Ornn. Oh, Man United getting chased up here.
Get a Q to the face, but no more autos stacking up there. Just a bit of trade between the two here. Fan start still.
Yeah, I'd say this is a pretty fair 5-point start. No real big shenanigans. They're going to get a deep ward here, looks like. Or they want to cancel any backs, potentially. C9 Joxy in the area. No one else really in threat range. Syndra going to get spotted on the mid side here, as everyone kind of walks down towards it.
All right, guys. You all only have one ability leveled up, all right? Let's chillax. Let's let minions crash in. There's not actually any kill threat with either of these teams level 1. Maybe with the Vi. Pro comp score heavily in favor of the FS side.
I'd
Rarely
agree.
see. Yeah, nearing 60% means they're stamping their approval on one comp more than the other.
Yeah, but I will say last game was a 50-50, and it looked like a 100-0.
True. But they did pick the right side in that one, too.
That is true. The slight edge over to Flash. So, maybe it's the team, not the comp. No, I'm kidding. Of course, it's just the comp. I'd say I'd agree that I think this team comp seems extremely good. And when you draft a kind of team fight, pick-oriented fight comp like T3s, and you have to deal with a Braum Orianna, it's pretty tough. And the Skarner, of course, you could just disengage at any point when the Vi does go in. This is why I don't really like Vi anymore. There are too many, particularly Skarner, you need to ban it away if you're going to play Vi. Because if you get pulled in as the Vi, you are not tanky enough to be able to survive back there. So definitely some big threat here. It's going to have a lot to do with how Cherry Kilo does in lane, and kind of, can you stomp the Orianna, or will Man United just overperform and really show what Kaisa can do? That is my conditions for this game.
Certainly. I will say the one difference between the last Turbo Gaming comment this one is they will have the like post level 6 power spike before this comp can really group up and prevent your Vi from threatening, prevent your Kaisa dive ability and all this stuff, and the Syndra ultimate playing around that. You will be able to play pretty heavily for picks going into once you have that Vault Breaker up, but at the same time, same thing can be on the side of the Nocturne Orianna, so we'll see which team can really play around their pick potential with ultimates better. And so far, Flash Syndicates have shown that they're just better at everything in this series. So
I will say one thing: Terry can actually just, if you really want to shut out this kind of comp, you could just build what is it, the Spell Shield item?
oh, Banshees.
Yeah,
Banshees
and
down.
that would be so bad for TS here. But you will lose a bit of damage, but I don't think you're really struggling too much. I mean, Sivir, yeah, it takes a while to get online, but not exactly the weakest AD carry in the mid game. You have the power of just pressing Q, which is quite a strong ability, and then the Nocturne obviously to follow up. So if there is a lot of threat, like Terry gets behind, I could see it being an option. Like Kaisa doesn't like that. I mean, yeah, she can kind of delete it, but if you're playing properly, it's a pretty potent strategy here. And you also nullify just that Syndra QE, so I'd say pretty good stuff to at least avoid getting caught, since you are the main person that's gonna get jumped on for sure.
Without a doubt. Cherokee though doing a good job stacking up. Hold on, we have engaged bot side. No stun gonna land there from Bento. Joxy doing a good job getting the full Alistar combo out, and it's Bento that's actually worse for wear. They have a ward in the Tri-Brush, so they'll spot over coming over. So this dive is happening. Bento does not have the Unbreakable Shield up in time, and that means Joxy's going to go in. They're going to go for the AD carry, though, and they're going to get right on top of Conveyable Cub. Great dive, great jollying of the turret aggro from Jay Joxy, but he comes back up. They're trying to get a little bit more, and they'll at least get Bento's flash. But a good sign for Turbo Gaming down 0-1.
Yeah, they're going to punish the fact that you picked Sivir into Alistar. I mean, you actually picked the Alistar into Sivir, so pretty good draft adaptation there. You can't really deny any combos because it's a two-parter. So pretty nice stuff there, and the angle was well timed, I'd say. They really could not have gotten out of that situation as soon as that initial trade comes through. So well played there from T3 to start off with an early lead that they definitely did not have in the last game.
Nope, and they got the gold exactly on who they wanted on, especially with Kaisa's build path currently. Rushing that static shiv, cheaper item. So Man United should hit that one item power spike a lot sooner than whatever Conveyable Cub can really build here. Well, I guess they both... Actually, what am I talking about? They're both going to rush static shiv. That's the meta.
Yeah, that's AD carry. You're a wave clear bot. Low key.
I mean, when we're living in a world where Jhin builds static rapid fire first two items, yeah, you're not even memeing.
Yeah, I mean, I will say it's kind of funny considering like it's not like mid laners right now have a problem wave clearing. It's not like we're in roaming meta where they just have no wave clear. So that's just how that should just show like it's just team fights and you want to just deny as many waves as possible, and that's kind of how the meta is shaped up. Which is fine. I mean, there's so many objectives now in League as far as like timers go. You should always have something to kind of fight for. Terry's gonna get traded on pretty heavily, but Joxy not in the area.
Ooh,
that was actually
power.
surprisingly close.
Yeah, good stat check. Cherokee recognizing the more orbs you drop with your other combos, the more damage you can get on your ultimate there. So Terry will have to step back and bring that teleport in. We'll just get matched. Those Cherokee did teleport back themselves, and they're about dead even in items. What maybe we weren't expecting here is ICP taking control of that top lane matchup, building a pretty sizable CS lead into the Skarner.
Ornn does generally just win because Skarner really needs the mana and does not have it currently. So Ornn is known to just bully other tanks. It's only Cassante that really kind of changed that wave. So I'd say this is going pretty normally for top lane here, but it's not like Skarner is not useful in these fights, so it'll be only a matter of time. The side lane is a different issue though. I feel like Skarner really has a bad time in side lane, which kind of why we saw this pick kind of fall off, because all the wave clear was nuked. You used to be able to just W the wave and then Q the front line, and you're pretty much cleared with the wave with a bit of Sunfire help. So definitely a little bit of a different look here for the Skarner. for the first time I've really seen it since it's gotten nerfed so heavily.
We'll see if coming out of the top lane will alleviate some of those issues, as we are slowly reaching that breaking point of this game. The jungler is obviously always the one to break stalemates. Not important and Nover both have access to their ultimates and a dragon to play for. Nover getting spotted by non-important, clearing out their chickens. But it does seem like a recall is in order here for not important, and we'll see where he decides to go with that all-powerful paranoia.
Yeah, the first one surprisingly late, I'd say. I mean, 8 minutes is pretty late in the timeline. They're just gonna smack each other. No,
Yeah,
no big deal.
I've watched too many tanks smack each other in top lane and know I don't need to cut you off anytime soon. They're not actually ever at kill threat. They're just building graph stacks, folks.
The only way they're in kill threat is if they agree that they're in kill threat.
Exactly. Well, here we go with a couple ultimates coming down. You have the Unbreakable Will. The Paranoia comes in. Late jump comes across for not important, but they have Nova cornered, and they're going to burn him through with the 4-man stack. Terry picking up that kill, and that's going to net Flash. Not only a kill, but a dragon as well on the backside.
Yeah, pretty well played there. Nice knock up into the two players. They weren't able to combo with the shockwave there, but could have been pretty disastrous here. 4T3 knock up coming through. Adaptable Ape.
Knock up steady. ICP very low. Trade of grass steps. The brittle proc gets them both low, but like you heard Golden Gat say, they're not in kill threat unless they decide they're in kill threat.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of handshaking in these lanes. I will say there definitely could have been. Skarner probably could have just auto-queued there and maybe gotten a kill, but
no.
Here we go. Top lane. This is the life. You get ganked by the jungler and you flame your jungler, but not in coordinated play, but you know. I feel you, Adaptable Ape.
Yeah, we all feel you. This bot lane has been ever volatile, despite the fact Sivir is one of the lamest champions to play in lane. Wave clear bot by design. Still got Man United and Joxy pretty low here. Little monobars though, gonna be a good spot. I mean, there's not a lot of kills, so this is when you get to have fun talking about wave states, and Variable Cub and company just put it. There's at a pretty good spot to get it back off.
Yeah. Also, feel like no real big CS leads. I mean, top lane's still about 10 CS up. Bot lane 4 for Kai'Sa, and actually put the wave back in neutral, so should be a nice state here. Cherry Kilo going for a pretty big trade. One more Q lands onto Terry. That should be a kill at this point.
Yeah.
Just not looking for it too heavily. Does not want to get over ambitious with a Nocturne up. You know, I think it's a little bit hard to track Nocturnal since it's been, you know, with the Hex, there was like the Hex Plate meta for a while where it was like, oh, there's a super short cooldown. To now, it's like, I don't know. How many seconds is that? So,
how many seconds did non-important just have to wait to expend his flash? About 2, as he gets stat checked by a Death Brush. So, key flash off there. Ward also spotted out. Non-important coming down, so Chirikilo didn't want to go for that stat check. You can see both those mid laners were twitching with their ultimates up to see who could win the 1v1. We've moved over, though, towards the Grub Pit here. Started up by Nover. And they do have control of 4. Might just be content with the 4. I like this call. You don't want to overextend yourself to play for double mites. Just take the single mite knowing that you've denied the other team any of them.
yeah, Vi, once again, not the best dueler, so probably best to just leave it. You got what you came for, 1 Void Might per wave. I'd say you should feel just content with that. Like, most of the time you're not utilizing the full power of the 2, so it does usually just feel good, but it's not really a kind of win condition of it.
Right.
I think that's been shown time and time again, unless you're a fanatic.
Oh. Man United, you've been sucked into a 2v1 you did not know about. Now you've got an exhaust over your head. The Braum Pass is stacking up. Good dodge on the Glacial Fissure, but the Brittle Stacks will still ring in a stun, and Conveyable Cup picks up 1 kill. Joxy has to apply the Unbreakable Will. Cherry Kilo first on the roam. Was spotted out on a ward, though, which means Convey and Cub won't have anything to do with it, and they'll back off with their 1 kill.
Yeah, I'd say well played there. They get the 1 kill. Man United did not expect the exhaust, I think, in particular, to actually deny getting at least a 1-for-1. So, good awareness there, and good quick roam here from Bento is going to secure them another kill. But the gold is extremely even. There really is no one kind of leading on. Flash Syndicate does have that 1 Drake, but T3 four grubs is nothing to be scoffed at. I'd say about equal value.
Yeah.
About as far as gold.
Whoa! Alright, flash for flash. Hate to tell you, my friend Terry, but the flash with the cease assist on your head means squat. Still gets followed, and all the orbs take the kill there for Cherry Kilo. Love the aggressiveness from Nova in this early game.
Yeah, so that's exactly what was going to happen for the rest of the
Not
game.
again, man. Welcome to playing AD Carry the Nocturne on the map. You walk up to one brush, and you suddenly are 3 versus 1. Easiest kill Available Cub has gotten in his entire season, I'll tell you.
I'm sure. You walked up, you pressed Q, you auto twice. Hey, that's that. We take those. But yeah, that's just the life right now. That's why you buy Static Shiv. The less time you have to be on the map, the better. So yeah, I mean, I'd say they're doing pretty good here. Flash definitely, this is their strong point. Caster's Companion. Oh, sorry, Luden's Companion. Now acquired for the Orianna, so definitely some kill threat. Has the Null Magic Mantle in the inventory. Maybe for the barrier, who knows? I'm just saying, it is really good, and you don't need to upgrade it fully to get the value because it's about the same cooldown as Vi Ultimate.
True.
So I just an angle, and you don't need the damage right now. So I don't know. I'm just speaking to myself at this point. Rift Herald going to the side of D3.
Yeah, I was just focused on Man United finally learning the lesson of playing weak side. He fully backed up from his turret. Oh, am I going to caster curse him? I see not important roaming over. I guess Man United isn't alone this time. He's got J Joxy close by. You can tell Flash Syndicate really wants to get this tier 1 turret down. A couple more autos should do it. Conveyable Cub is going to greed for it and get it, but give away a key shutdown to Man United and leaves not important on his own. I called Conveyable Cub's kill the easiest kill of his life. That was the easiest double of Man United's career right there.
I mean, I'm sure too for that one too. Hey, game recognizes game in the bot lane. We gotta just toss it. That's how it goes. They wanted the turret, they got the turret. I actually think I'm not even sure if Conveyable Cub got the local gold because they died. And I think if you're dead, you can't get the local gold on the turret. So it literally just went to not important.
Damn. And giving away that shutdown too. You just inflate your gold value. Definitely a win. And once again, is this deja vu? I'm watching the same gank on a Terry, but this time, not enough damage, and a shockwave will keep him alive. Guess there somehow wasn't enough juice in the Cinder camp for that one. Impale gonna whiff on the top side for Adaptable Ape, and ICP says, all right, here comes the Ornhorn. One knockup, Brittle stack.
Careful.
There's a Heartsteel stack, a flash throw into the wall. Adaptable Ape showing why Skarner is a top laner now.
Okay, I don't know about that. I mean, it was just like...
Nope, stamped it.
All right,
Everybody,
got it.
I'm right.
Yep. Skarner, best top laner in the game, question mark? I mean, killed
not
one,
anytime
right?
soon.
Not important. Getting this blue buff, dodge away on the stun, but doesn't have the smite in the pocket, so just gonna get forced out there. Yeah, and I'd say game's pretty even still. Nothing's really changed too much. T3 did acquire the Drake. At this point, gold lead really seems to just be on the Syndra. I'm not 100% sure on that. Let's see. Yeah.
-1.
-1, true. How do you -1 at Syndra? Let's be clear.
It's really bad too because you get splinters off those cannon minions. So
they made it easy on purpose.
They did.
W on it, and then you just kill it.
You were right though. Cherry Kilo sitting on about 800 gold lead over Terry. These two teams are just trading who can pick off who. This time Man United's got friends with him though, and hello, where did this Vi come from? Not important, certainly feels bad about it. Double teleport coming across. Mid laner v mid laner, I assume. Nope, it's ICP and Terry matching. 5-stack coming across. There's on the hunt pot for Conveyable Cup. They don't have Cherry Kilo over just yet. Glacial Fissure knockup. They need to try to get to the Kaisa, but they're not getting on top of him. Shockwave onto 2. Top and over are very low, but still alive, trying to back off. Impale on a Man United, and he gets pulled into the meat grinder. Look at Conveyable Cup with the Lethal Temple just throwing over axe after axe. Took a while, but Flash Syndicate break open the first fight of the game, take the kill lead.
Yeah, and you know what I was talking about, how it felt like Asol wasn't part of the team. It felt the exact same way there. I feel like they needed Cherry Kilo's damage. Just gonna look for the ult here.
Oh, the spell shield into the barrier. Conveyable Cub at least makes it a lot harder for Cherry Kilo to pick up a trade kill.
Yeah, but still gonna get traded out, and that's, you know, one more overextension, and that's more gold into the Orianna pocket. Now has the Merc Treads complete, so a lot of the threat of the Syndra on its own is kind of neutralized with that pick. I talked about how Ori doesn't really need the damage this game. You have the Sivir, which, tried and true, you just click, you just auto, and the boomerangs will bounce eventually. So I'd say a very good look here from Flash Syndicate, and their team fighting is just good. They know how to space their fight. You saw Braum properly stoning out the Syndra in that last fight, putting the exhaust down as soon as the E comes through, so there's really just no follow-up available, and there was just so much damage pumped into the side of T3. They didn't really have any time to kind of counterpunch here, and now I'm a bit concerned for T3, because, you know, you had the early advantage from having a Kai'Sa and a Syndra.
Put it in reverse, Terry! Oh, too late. I just want to get the Vine meme out, to be honest with you. I'm glad I got that one.
To be honest, there was no escaping that, but that felt the exact same way as the Vine meme, to be honest. That guy was screwed.
Yeah, that's true. And I know Chris was laughing. I could hear him. Oh, there. Well, I actually didn't think I could hear him, and then I realized I can't hear him. You guys can't. I can.
Yeah. But as I said, hey, maybe you should have just gone for the Sork boots and gotten the barrier. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
Maybe. I don't know.
And we'll have to discuss. I don't know. Maybe I'm
The only thing that popped in my brain when you said crazy is the crazy meme. I'm in full meme mode after quoting a Vine. That's
Oh, that was a bad -1. Come on.
yeah,
Can't
that's
give
true. You know what? If we're gonna say Syndra shouldn't be -1ing, Sivers also should not be -1ing. It's a literal wave clear jam.
Like expecting the red buff to beat out 4 minions was a little bit ambitious, I'd say.
Yeah, that's you gotta be really well calculated for that to work out. This Rift Herald drop wasn't very calculated. Nova is trying the old trick where you drop the Herald and gives you pressure on the Dragon Pit, but Dragon's still 20 seconds away.
This.
All right, Nova, what do we... Okay, we're going... All right, that... I don't have words. I don't have words for what that was.
The greatest Rift Herald of all time.
You just said Shelly to die now. I mean, she's not even going to crash into anything. She's just in a 1v1 with Conveyable Cub that she loses.
And makes up for the cannon. Okay.
It's not even the same gold value, right? It's half. It's like
no, it's not even
gold.
half. It's 25 gold. It's not even close. But it does give more XP than a cannon.
Whoa, all right, here we go. There's the Shockwave Nocturne combo, but it does get rooted. Man United able to slip out. That's a 5-man headbutt into the Pulverize, throws a Flash Syndicate member under the turret. Not important, did not think that would play out with the lights off. The lights come on, it's Jay Joxy that comes to battle, and the front lines are just slinging it. Good Scout of the Week, though, comes across from Cherokee to create some distance, but we do see Conveyable Cub find a trade with that Sivir being able to melt through the front line.
That was a really weird interaction. I don't know if you spotted it, but basically Skarner grabbed Vi at the same time Vi clicked R on someone and actually got out of it. I've never seen anyone ever get out of a Skarner ultimate.
I did not see
Skarner
that.
ultimate, Skarner E. That has never
Right.
happened. Like, I know at Worlds there was the Yone that just got grabbed and did not let go, even though Yone clicked R. Similar case here, so I was just surprised. But
Well, Skarner's back, full of HP, just zoning right now. I mean, nobody will pass this Skarner to get to the Drake Pit.
yeah, I definitely agree. So this is a free Drake here for Flash Syndicate. They might even get a cow in the meantime.
Well, they finally decided to engage onto the Skarner, but like we talked about, Hearthsteel nearly to 2 tank items. Skarner will not take any damage, and he's protecting the Blast Cone with his life. Dragon finally taking the Blast Cone time perfectly, so Adaptable Ape doesn't even get hounded for being so far up, and he's going for Nixtal's impact. Drives right by. Scout of the Week on a Cherokee forces Terry to flash on out. Adaptable Ape still on the front line, waiting for that Impale to come back up. It is seconds away, trying to maybe find a target. He goes off on his own side quest. It does find Man United. Not important, turns the lights off to make sure they can burn through the Kai'Sa. An Adaptable Ape Skarner is on an absolute display. Terry with the double kill. Adaptable Ape flashing for the slow. Eats a Scout of the Week stun and way too many orbs to the face. Caster Curse comes through in the end, but Flash Syndicate still find a win.
That was just so overambitious there for Adaptable Ape, but you know, you gotta respect it. Feeling himself after a very nice showing on the front line there, but I really say they played their timers well. I mean, Nocturne playing for ult, the TP's coming through.
They want more? They want 2 desserts. Terry's teleporting back in to Shockwave and blow up a cow. Beef is on the menu. Oh.
Very Kilo, so close to going down, but as I was saying, they really played the timer well. They saw Paranoia was coming up in about 3 seconds as soon as that fight really kicked off, and that puts them at a great position as soon as they split the fight into 2 sections. And hey, they combo it well, and that's kind of what the difference has been. It's been the positioning on these fights, really, I feel like, and also the extended fight just goes a lot better for the Sivir Ori Skarner comp than, you know, a Vi Syndra. You know, that's just the nature of these champions. So T3 kind of playing these long fights is really you know, giving them a hard time.
It's such an interesting like combo of a comp too, right? Because they're usually, when you have teams that want to play the long fights, they're playing disengage into re-engage. But Flash Syndicate with Nocturne Ori are playing engage, stall, re-engage, which is like, comps don't usually work that well like that.
Yeah. So I'm pretty surprised, at least, that they're playing this well, to be honest. So your statement of they might be the best team in this league, I could definitely see it. This is pretty coordinated, and they definitely know what they're doing, I'd say.
They are sitting on a gold lead, a dragon lead. Slight gold lead, by the way. But if all those pan out, we will see Flash Syndicate 6-0. 6 for 6 in their first 3. 6 for 6 in their first 6 games. 3-0. Perfect 3-0 in their first 3 series.
Yeah. So it's looking good. And so far, Baron is up. Looks like T3 wants to look towards it, at least to threaten it a little bit to get them to move off the wave. They are going to shove him that top side, so they have a bit of time to actually be able to roam up. But the Sivir's about to clear this mid wave. And they have kind of no prio, so they're really looking to kind of pull someone over to this Baron. They've choked out a lot of the vision. Alistar looking over.
Yeah, here we go. They don't have teleport on Adaptable Ape, so this could be a 5v4 for Tier 3 if they want it. Light's going to go out. The Cease is still going to come down. Be able to come, trying to kite back. The Sivir is safe, and the re-engage from Downpour into the shockwave delayed from Terry. Is going to make sure the front line is certainly hurting. Jared Kilo has to kite back on the Syndra. The burst didn't work to find a kill, and that means Tier 3 cannot find anything more. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon, though. Adaptable Ape is on a pretty big flank. ICP trying to step up on his own. But now you definitely feel like T3 have to back off. The Impale comes up, claims a victim, ICP to fall. Big Sky of the Week from Cherokee, but like we talked about, there's not enough burst damage just yet for the Syndra to make a difference. As we might have lost Golden Gad for the time being. Oh, he's back.
I'm returned. I was talking to myself. That's great. I will say I was just making the point that, you know, these at Flash Syndicate played the never mind. They played terribly. No, I'm kidding. T3 did at least enough damage to Flash Syndicate that they couldn't force Baron, so that was actually a pretty good scenario. Not important. Also, getting caught out. This might be a big throw here for Flash Syndicate.
Hey, remember when I said Jared Kilo doesn't have enough to get these fights done? Well, he took that to heart and just found, on his own, 2 insanely valuable kills. Market leaving not important on the backside. This game just got flipped 180 style.
Yeah, I just talked about how they had a terrible tempo because, you know, they took so much damage on the back end of the fight and had to reset while a lot of the members of T3 were already respawning. And then they just find 2 people overstaying, and hey, when you do that, you get a free Baron. So T3 now in a commanding position in the game. They need to make sure they secure this Drake. I mean, not the most important. I actually think they could just go straight mid right now after splitting this team up, but it looks like they just want to secure the drag. They don't want to have any risk of soul point in about 5 minutes, so a respectable decision, but I think they actually could have squeezed mid out of this and gotten out anyways.
I'm with you there, Golden Gad. Now I'm curious how long can Flash Syndicate stall this Baron out? Because we saw it last game happen to them. I guess they won't chase too much further. The Baron recall is helping out to get those resets quicker. Adaptable Ape is teleporting topside. That is a full health turret that he thinks he's going to get.
Yeah, no demolish on this Skarner, surprisingly. Usually you see it because this champ just had HP stacks like crazy. Just going to force everyone to walk topside, but it really doesn't change too much since you only got about maybe 20% of the turret. But they are going to get mid push out of it at the very least, stall out a little bit more. They want to get this Baron out of the pockets of T3. 1 minute 50 left on it. If they do push forward, I think they should have at least a decent chance of fighting. They need to get a couple of cooldowns out. The experimental Hexplate is in the pocket of the Nocturne, so that Paranoia is going to be up a lot more often. Don't expect any fights where it's not up at this point, because, you know, cooldown's probably like 45, 50 seconds. So, yeah, definitely going to be a constant threat at this point. Yeah.
I am curious, production, if we can get a Splinter stack check on Cherry Kilo. Because, okay, yeah, so fully evolved. Yeah, so that means that the R has the execute threshold for low health members. So if it isn't spell shielded properly, which I will say Cavable Cub has done a pretty good job at, Cherry Kilo can hit one scout of the week and will definitely one-shot Terry, Cavable Cub, and potentially not important.
Yeah, but I really feel like T3 hasn't gotten anything off this Baron. You know, the Sivir's really good at wave clearing. Joxy wants to change that.
Yeah, he's trying to at least get the wave up here, but they're taking a whole lot of damage just to get to this point. Paranoia out, but look at the burst damage from Syndra. Now Cavable Cub is far too far back. Oranhorn comes across, does a bit more damage, and the lights come back on, and the Killer Instinct is found by Man United, who gets one. Gonna get a second onto Bento. The shield will not matter because the Sky of the Week comes across. Look at Man United fly forward like a red devil, hunting his prey. Available Cub will spell shield. The cease and desist won't survive the Vault Breaker. And suddenly, out of nowhere, that's 4 kills to Tier 3 with Baron still in tow.
Yeah, T3 really making it count here. I just talked about how they didn't really get anything out of the Baron, and the fight is good. Cherry Kilo does so much damage to Conveyable Club with a pretty unique interaction there. If Braum does block, oh my god, maybe get a kill. Needs to stall up this fight.
Yeah, he's got to try, but the Nexus turrets are down. This is going to be a win off the back of one big fight. Turbo Gaming just handed Flash Syndicates their first loss of the season.
Yeah, Cherry Kilo, I'd say, really stepped up at the very end there, and that shows the power of Syndra. It is a champion that can solo find the angles to win these games, and hey, solo win it did. I mean, really nothing else. I was just gonna highlight a specific interaction between Syndra and Braum. If you do toss the not the scatter, the W onto the Braum shield, it instantly pops the damage, and Sivir was actually standing right on top of the Braum, so it didn't block anything. If anything, it just immediately did half of Sivir's HP bar, which not exactly optimal for the fight. And yeah, I think Man United did a great job of capitalizing off that damage, and they were able to win the fight very handily.
You know, there are many times where AD carry players get memed on for using their flash aggressively, going forward with when it's just naturally you don't do that with these champions. So whenever you see somebody pull it off, you know, everybody likes to scream, "Oh, Viper, Uzi, my God!" Man United did it, man. Like that was a Killer Instinct forward into a 1v2. Flash is a wall he doesn't have vision over. That is why Kaisa is such a fun, unique champion, because you can do stuff like that no other AD carry in the game can.
Yeah, doing his best Yawn cosplay.
There you go.
Worlds. Unfortunately, they're out. I also predicted him to get a pentakill, and he only got a quadra. I was so sad. It's so over. Pick'ems are so over. I'm sure everyone's pick'ems are so over.
Probably.
But yeah, I'd say very good victory here for T3, and they kind of clawed that back from defeat for sure. I mean, it was looking dire, and then guess what? Overstayed just a little bit, and the entire game flipped on its head, and we're going to Game 3.
We're going to Game 3. Golden Gad's Pick'ems may be dead. The series is not dead anymore. You heard him say it. Game 3 is coming your guys' way. The first Game 3 of the Flash Syndicate season so far. How do they respond to the first bit of adversity they've faced? We'll find out after a short break.
but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
It's expect the unexpected is a saying that I am reminded of so many times in my life, and it has happened once more tonight on a Tuesday night. We have ourselves a game number 3 here between Flash Syndicate and Turbo Gaming. Because Golden Gat, it felt like game 1 was a wipe. Game 2 was ramping up for the way Flash Syndicates wanted it to be, but sometimes it just takes one fight, man.
And it wasn't even a fight. It was like 2 picks. And
Two
then like a
picks in,
good
one
fight.
fight. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I'd say the 2 picks were like, hey, crazy good stuff. But like, why is FS there? I felt like we have been singing their praises the entire time, and then suddenly, guess what? They make 1, 2 crucial mistakes, and the game slips out of their hands, and that could have been the end of the series right there, and they could have preserved their status here as pretty much looking like the best team so far that we've seen. But no, they're going to get challenged, and we're going to go to game 3. They could still wrap this up, find their second victory of the series here, and lock up that singular first place here in Group C. But after that last one, you never really know, I guess. I mean, that's the kind of thing. That's the kind of game where it's like we had that, and this team probably hasn't been around for too long as far as a 5 core. So I imagine like this is the kind of stuff that really weighs on your mental, and like, you know, when you've been around a team forever, you'll know how everyone reacts. But that's the kind of game where it's like, oh, you know, did someone really mess up? You know, that's the kind of things that start rolling back in the back of your mind. So I definitely say they got to keep it composed. They got to just reset. Every game's its own. Things happen. So I say, yeah, FS definitely has to tidy up the deck here. So
Yeah, it is also, also provides like a good spot for, the old adversity talk as we head into this game 3 final draft of the night. Is a lot of times, you hear it in sports a lot too, is the teams that get off to hot starts and then lose. It's the saying of they couldn't handle losing, and like all the wheels fall off the boat. So I'm of the proponent. It's sometimes good to lose badly in like a regular season game, or occasionally to learn how you can adapt and overcome, because you're not going to stay perfect through a whole season. You're especially not going to stay perfect in the playoffs. So you got to be ready to adapt after losses. And we're here to learn what the blue side draft, what the adaptations, what the rebound looks like for Flash Syndicates.
yeah, last time they did ban the Mordekaiser, and they're going to continue doing it. So far, all the bans are exactly the same for both of these teams. See if it stays true here for the last 2, but I'm curious what their first pick will be. They're going to swap it up to the Syndra. Last game, they did end up banning the Hui, so it seems like they just respect whatever was played previously. We might see FS just go straight for the Hui first pick, but no, it's going to get denied. It's going to get banned out. No flexing the Hui anywhere in the game. I mean, you could put it mid, AD carry support. Doesn't really matter too much right now. So I like to see that banned, especially since Terry did look pretty good on it. But Ash is the thing that is left open with that. So that's going to be the 180 carry that I'd say still works pretty well. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is Enchanted Crystal Arrow. It doesn't really change anything. And the damage is not exactly negative for Ash. It still kind of works sometimes, depending on how thick that front line is. But they're going to stay true with the Vi. T3 liked it in that last game. Kind of controversially, I feel like it didn't really do too much for the rest of the game besides really locking down Terry in the early game. That really was what it came down to. But after that, it was kind of useless. It really came down to just Syndra finding a couple of big stunts here. But the Ornn's going to be the persistent factor here for T3. ISTP not going to get jostled off of it at all.
Now, not important, it certainly changes up his role in this one. Going to go for the Lee Sin here. So I was a little bit worried about all right, whatever I'm going to say doesn't matter. We have an Alawi lock-in.
That's an OP champion into Ornn. Not gonna lie, Ornn is completely shut out in that matchup. It is lights out, basically. That is like the optimal matchup here for Alawi, and yeah, unless the jungle just goes straight top repeatedly pre-6, this is gonna be a rough one for the side lanes. But T3 hasn't really been playing side lanes. They've been playing kind of ball copy, and they're gonna grab up the Kaisa again, so they have a lot of dive to pair up alongside the big front line that they've drafted. But as I said, Alawi's going to make it hurt in the side lane, and you really don't have anyone to kind of contest that. So I'd like to see maybe an AD carry in mid. I know it's kind of crazy. We don't really talk about it too much, but like, I think it's...
sorry, I'm taking it back. Why are we banning Orianna as a team with Vi?
Because I don't know. Actually, that's a good question. I mean,
not to take the wind out of your sails. That's a great point you're making. It confuses the hell out of me, especially because you pick our 4 picks first. So all right, it's because they like the Vex better. So
Yeah.
definitely a dive buddy still.
They're just all diving so far, and then I expect support to be more of the same, because you can't really leave an Enchanter all the way back there when you're 50 miles away with Vi,
Yep.
Kaisa, Vex.
Wow.
So they have an insanely long engage. That is, they're just gonna Ornhorn and they're gonna find it. But Lissandra, extremely good at kind of neutralizing dive, and then Galio. Oh, this is a wipe. This is a disaster of a draft in my opinion. Galio, gonna be showing up in support most likely,
Yes.
unless T3 for some reason picks Ron. That's not happening. So it's gonna be Alistar. So Galio in support for some disengage, and then you have a long range neutralization with the help of the Ashe, and then they can never dive onto a Lissandra, Galio, Alawi. This is going to be a tough one here for T3. And they're going to need to come out to such an early lead and make sure they shut down this Alawi so early that that's pretty much the only condition they have. But can you shut down an Alawi truly with an Ornn Vi? I don't think so. So now that puts the onus on Cherry Kilo to roam, but I don't think Cherry Kilo, or Vex in specific, has a better push than Lissandra in the early game.
Certainly. There are so many interesting intangibles about this matchup. And the fact that we also just have so many unique champions. I am fortunate enough to cast a couple of leagues and areas that have adopted. I'm not even getting my point out here because we have Sonic Waves landing for non-important. Nova should be fine actually, the Vault Breaker. I'll get the point out. I'm fortunate enough to cast a couple of places that I've adopted the Fearless format. This feels like a draft you'd get at a Game 3 of a Fearless draft. But
yeah,
this isn't Fearless. Everybody was available.
Yeah, this is what the teams landed on one way or another. Vex is particularly strong in this patch generally. Flash Syndicate gonna be once again given pro comps kind of lenience here. They still have the prediction. They did lose the last game, but I'd say not a fluke, but also not exactly expected. But as I was saying, Vex very strong on the patch. I think sitting around a 52% win rate in Emerald Plus. So I'd say that's a pretty good state to be in, but what is Vex really denying here? I mean, it's like Lee Sin Dash. Galio does not really care if he gets feared away, even with E. I mean, W, it's a little bit annoying, but if you're playing around the Vex, then you should know when the fear's up. You can't really just hold W all the way as Galio. So definitely, I think I just don't know if this is the right spot to play it. You wanted to go for a full dive, and guess what? That B4-5 really hurt you.
Yeah, certainly put them in a tough spot. Though this does seem like very similar sentiments we were sharing the last time a dive comp was put together by Turbo Gaming. There were a lot of good answers from Flash Syndicate. This time they're trying a similar approach with maybe different pieces, like you're mentioning. Instead of just having tanks that can stand in the front of a lot of this dive, can just interrupt a lot of this dive with their health bars. You've got Lissandra that can just jump into the Frozen Tomb. Galio's happy to eat up a lot of that, and then they have the split map. I am very intrigued to see how much Flash Syndicate will lean into the split map, with the fact they have a global ultimate in the Ash Arrow, pretty darn wide range coverage of that hero's entrance as well, and with the Claw, Terry on this Lissandra can get over walls to set up even further flanks, so let's see if they can play that split map that a lot of teams, especially at this level, fail to do correctly.
Yeah, I mean, they really need to shut down this Alawi. You're already seeing the CS lead kind of pile up just a little bit here for the Alawi, and it's just going to keep going this way, especially if, I mean, trading's actually looking not terrible. You really need to trade heavy on Alawi whenever she uses her cooldowns early game. That's pretty much the only way to win this matchup. And then hope your jungler comes and you can kill when they do arrive. But they're, once again, Adaptable Ape very aware and putting the ward there on time. So good awareness not to get caught out there. But I would have liked to see a little bit of creative pathing here for Nova, because you've tried that same gank now 3 games in a row and it hasn't worked any of them.
True.
Just because, you know, their Adaptable Ape just has been warding properly. So maybe going over the grub wall is a possibility, but no, not going to happen. So they're just going to get kind of have to force a reset here for ISTP and force out the double TP for both sides without getting a kill. And now it looks like Cherry Kilo in a somewhat dangerous spot. I don't think they can dive that hard, especially with Fear still up. Definitely conserving that to make sure you're safe and alive. Very similar to Annie. You know, if you have Fear up, you are a different champion compared to when you don't. Just gonna clear out the wave and get a full reset in just a second.
Yeah, we're seeing the power in the other lanes too of the draft difference here. The Galio can really nullify what the Alistar for Joxy does, and then Ash range is really annoying for Kaisa, so I'm enjoying this sort of pseudo-freeze Conveyable Cub and Bento have got going, just seeing how many minions they can deny Man United purely because Kaisa is so low-ranged.
Yeah, I mean, that is the woe of playing the high-fee dive champ, so hopefully, you know, Riot has learned, you know, you give some champs some downside, so that is the one heal they gave her. Terry taking a huge chunk. Wow, that was a really good trade there from Cherokee. Hit pretty much everything in the combo, so that's a huge chunk. At least still has TP,
boy.
but ISTP, bad spot, not important. Has to bait it out.
Cut the wave down, so Donporn has to just tank up the turret, and it will force Daptile Ape to flash, but you were calling for it. You need ganks into the Alawi. How about the Alawi getting the first gank and first blood of the game?
Yeah, that's a dive too. They might be able to trade Drake here. Vi very slow on it, but they do have prio to at least move over. But Alawi getting accelerated. Hey, I've seen this tale before, and it's very similar to the Mordekaiser in game 1. And you saw how hard that game looked for T3. So I'm just so surprised they aren't just saying, well, we got to just screw one lane. We have to make sure this Alawi can't play the game. It's very similar to Darius, where if you shut them down early, it's very hard for them to get back into it. But, you know, you could always play to the side and kind of hope, like, eventually we'll end the game before the Alawi split push ends the game. So they're opting more for that kind of approach where the Ornn just joins fights. But this is a scaling pick on the Ornn, and if you're scaling, you're giving time to the Alawi. And if you're giving time to the Alawi, that's more time she gets to just pummel you under turret over and over and over again.
And it opens up for non-board to recognize, hey, topside strong. How about I just play for the grubs? Interestingly enough, out of all this, though, we're actually... Wow, I don't know about this. Flash Syndicates are initiating a lane swap when their Alawi was running the 1v1 matchup.
Yeah.
Maybe this is just for grubs, but...
I think it's mostly just for grubs, but also they pulled Joxy over, so it's not exactly that bad here. Man United should be able to at least safely get all of the CS here. So barring you don't get hit by an E. That is the Alawi ability.
There you go. Dodge.
Nice. Yeah, dodged out away from it, so not going to take a huge chunk here. Going to just grab up this wave. No real big threat, and Joxy is walking back down here. They're going to spot Bento on the Krugs. Not important.
Oh, okay. They kind of let him walk out. Dover uses Vault Breaker on the Krugs, but they want to push too much further under turret. Now we're going to see Adaptable Ape potentially get ganked. Adaptable Ape has Leap of Faith, level 6. Yeah, good call out there, Goldgad. Neither one of these other members for Tier 3 have it. So Adaptable Ape maybe laying a bit of a trap here. Here it comes Leap of Faith. Let's see how much Alawi can heal through that Ignite. The cleanse is enough, and that was really well planned. Man United shutting down the scariest member of the game for Flash Syndicates as Jerry Kilo picks off Terry. Will be traded back by non-board, but now it's Jungler v Jungler. Good kick comes across. Nover Flash smites a mini to try and get level 6 to desperately find the kill, but won't get it.
Yeah, I mean, just not there at the level 6, so Lee Sin having kick definitely was the difference maker now. ISTP, this is a little bit of a free time. Finally gets to farm a little bit. I mean, it's not the easiest to do, but I'd say that he probably prefers this over the Alawi since the dive threat's a lot harder to execute compared to just, oh, I just land E and I could poke him under turret for forever. Big hitbox makes it harder, so yeah, I'd say this is pretty good. They at least deny the first Alawi ultimate from really changing the game. I've seen so many times teams go into an Alawi, yeah, no one survives afterwards, so I'd say pretty well played here for T3.
And they need it, because they are starting to surrender a decent gold lead themselves. Are evened out. One Drake versus 3 grubs. And you can see the goal differences in most of these lanes. Not too different, but it is the top side prevailing currently for Flash Syndicate.
Yeah, and they're just going to keep it rolling. I mean, I'd say so far this is a pretty good look here for Flash Syndicate. Kind of despite some of the rolling not going exactly in their way. I think the lane swap worked out pretty well for them gold-wise. They were able to get 2 more plates into the pockets of Conveyable Cub. And yeah, I mean, getting Ashe at least accelerated makes the lives of the Vex Vi a lot harder. You know, more levels equals more tankiness. dodging on any of that threat is pretty important. So, Man United though at least grabs up a lot of solo XP. Alistar not level 6, but hasn't really been contested at all. Drake is coming up in a minute, so gonna want to grab that up before then. But besides that, I'd say pretty well played overall, and they're gonna find Cherokilo as I say that. Caster Curse.
Yep.
Let's go.
Both these mid laners have easy setup ability for their junglers to come over and get enough damage on a kill. And as this series is 1-1, as this series continues to even itself out in skill gap, we have an even 1-for-1 pick between both these mid laners.
Yeah. That's kind of been the trend, to be honest. ISTP trading out just a little bit. Adaptive Wave just does not care. You need to get Bramble as soon as possible for this matchup, I feel. Plated steel caps don't really help as much as some of the other AD matchups for tanks, so seeing them just pivot towards the, forgot what that item, wing moon plate.
Yeah, something like
it's pretty
that.
surprising, considering you really want to cut the healing a little bit, and I believe it comes off Spirit.
Oh, ISTP, my friend. He goes into that, by the way. Uses the Ornhorn, has the Steel Spell, but good knock-up, though. Adaptive Leap was going to flash for the kill. Damage falls a bit short, but it's a silver lining because you still surrender the way. Oh, no,
wait.
please don't tell me
You're
he
dead,
dies.
you're dead, you're
Please
dead,
don't
you're
tell-
dead.
Come on, man. That can't be how that play ends.
That's a work
That's
of
not
art.
real. Chris,
Work
I
of art.
blame you somehow.
True, I agree. Yeah, that was just, ugh, that was gross. But we've, you know, a little bit of info in us. That's just how it goes. Not important. Gonna
This is, yeah.
hide away the
Cool.
grub.
Well, yeah, this series is spiraling out of control into just pure chaos at this point. We're having junglers fight with grubs in front of each other. Ash Arrow from downtown going to snipe out the tank. Not important, not going to hit the Ward Hop Sonic Wave. They only have the Ornn locked in place, but it seems like Cherokilo and Nova are content throwing Ornn to the wolves after his sick outplay to pick up a solo
Or not.
kill. Or not. He walks on out and attention turned right back towards the grubs. It's not important. Really wants 6 this time round.
Yeah, gonna grab up the 6. They committed the TP for it, so they're gonna earn that bounty for sure. Yeah, Man United has just not left the bot lane. There's been 0 movement, which is fine because you're playing AD carry. But they might be able to grab the dragon as a result. They do have initial push since the Ashe did have to commit a little bit of time, and you can't really walk up to the wave when you have a Kaisa in front of you if you do not have Ashe Arrow at this stage. So yeah, they're just gonna be able to get the dragon off of this, and that's 2 in the pockets of T3 for maybe the first time. I was like, if they steal that, that is.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we're getting a little wacky, so I would have been too surprised. But you know, it's interesting, right? Because I think this neutral trade is as like win-win as it comes. Turbo Gaming definitely want the scaling factor of these dragon stacks, but with the side lane threat of an Alawi, Flash Syndicate definitely more beneficial to have those 6 grubs. And all right, this time we're not gonna mess up diving ICP. Well, there's a Sonic Wave miss. They don't have a big wave. They're using grubs to step up. Not important. Will try and cut down the next wave so they can get the grubs in. But now there's a teleport coming across. ISTP still healing somewhat. Here comes Cherokilo to try and alleviate the pressure. And once again, this pesky Ornn on the side lanes refuses to die under all this pressure.
Yeah, I feel like that should have been a free kill for sure.
Oh, well, maybe it's Cherokilo's turn. Flash committed. Ornhorn on the backside gets the fear down. They do take the first turret. There's the Void Surge. Expertly flashed by non-important, but where did Joxy come from? There's a Mad Cow on the loose at the backside. He's going to try to get the knock-up into non-important. The fear doesn't land. The Ignite with the Vex damage will be enough, though. And now it's Terry and Adaptive Leap that have to put it in reverse, but Nova says, I'm all gas, no brakes. Goes in with a cease and desist. Gets the lockdown onto Terry. There will be no Frozen Tomb to bail him out. And that turret costs Flash Syndicate 2 kills at the end of the day.
I don't know if Terry just wanted to ult himself, but just ulted Nova instead. So a good body block there on the mouse clicks there by Nova to actually deny the tomb.
Frozen
Something.
Tomb healing, yeah.
Yeah, Frozen Tomb. There's Glacial Prison and Frozen Tomb. Always messes me up, not gonna lie.
Yeah. I thought you were going to ult name check me in this game because there's so many unique champions, but it was good that you didn't because I would have had them all covered.
Okay. Okay. I'll keep your word on that.
Well, I could name them for you. It's Leap of Faith for Alawi, Frozen Tomb
Which is
for
crazy.
Lissandra.
I cannot believe you knew that one, by the way.
Yeah, well, I knew it because I hate Alawi with all my fiber, so
Me too.
I don't forget any of her I don't forget her ultimate name purely out of that. And then the Vex is Void Surge.
Void Surge, interesting. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like I will say Terry looking for it.
Slow. There's no Frozen Tomb to lock Man United, so they'll just get the flash out of the Kaisa.
Yeah, pretty well played. Joxy wants to fight, though.
Good cancel. This is what we talk about. The Galio can interrupt the Alistair, but he still goes for the flash insect with the headbutt. Man United, though, is far too low. They threw the Lissandra into their AD carry, and it's going to cost them at the end of the day 2 kills. Joxy, you're trying to style, but all you did was set everything on fire.
Yeah, well, a little too hyphy there. Did not expect that many bodies to be on top of the Lissandra there, so that's pretty nicely coordinated there for Flash Syndicate. But I will give one tip for Alawi. Do not let her pummel you with the soul. Just leave. It is not worth it to just say I'm braving this out. Definitely just get out of there. That's too much damage. You can't afford to tank it. So yeah, it's one thing we haven't really seen too much of. Charlie Kilo doesn't have fear.
Ooh, no taunt for Bento.
Smallest hitbox in the game, something like that for Vex. So yeah, pretty hard to actually lock down there.
Vex is Vex the smallest hitbox in the that's
there's a
fun
couple
trivia
champs.
fact.
There's like 10, 12 champs. And I believe Kale used to be in that group, which is why Kale was so obnoxious when
Kale being in that group is so ludicrous. It's just all be Yordles.
it's mostly just Yordles, yeah.
Yeah. I can see why people think Vex's hitbox might be bigger. The shadow throws you off. She always has that shadow behind her.
All right, let me double check this just so I'm not crazy. But in the meantime, Kaisa died again.
Oh,
by the same exact thing. Terry with the Malignance is just spamming R.
I mean, that's what you want to do on the Lissandra. Hello, Joxy's still cooking up these headbutt pulverized combos, but Able Cub drops an arrow and a taunt into the face of the Vex. It's only the Vi on the backline, but really good recast on the Void Surge from Cherry. Kilo does not get the kill on the Able Cub. Able to get out, the Ash gets out, used all your cooldowns to kill off the Ash, and what does that mean? Now you're going to die. See you later and over. Joxy has to probably break a will to try and survive, but they flash on top of the Vex and pack Cherry Kilo into a nice box to send him back to spawn.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd say that wasn't optimal. You don't get the reset on the side of Vex, and that means you just lose a lot of damage in these team fights. Ash able to survive, and it's kind of the problem I had with the comp. It's like, if you're diving in, you're gonna get engaged on most likely. So
that's crazy. The Conveyable Cub was the one in the Rift Herald at 10% HP.
Conveyable Club said, "You ain't diving again. You don't have that confidence anymore." After the last one.
Funniest part was that Man United had the killer instinct too, so he autoed him once. He could have definitely been right on top of the Ash, but
yeah. So I've now verified with the wiki. The only champs that aren't Yordles that are at the smallest unit size of 55 are Melio and Yumi and Zoe.
Okay, those I accept all of those.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that Yumi's in the game.
Well, that's unavoidable at this point. So.
True. True. This Dragon take unavoidable. Flash Wolves actually very key Dragon to get. Usually teams fight really heavily over third Drakes. Not this time.
Yeah, I mean they're playing like Flash Wolves. I see what you mean.
Did I say Flash Wolves again?
Yeah.
Gosh darn it.
It's okay. Hey, they're playing great, so you know you give them the respect. Flash Wolves had like NA's lunch money forever.
That's true.
So, Adaptable Ape, just pushing. Oh, it hurts for sure. The only time we succeeded was the only time well, actually we did it twice, MSI finals, but 2016. Remember?
Shout out CLG.
Shout out CLG.
Shout out the Rush Hour bottom lane.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah. All right, we're just getting hex flashes. Everybody's looking for picks at this point. Mid lane is the hot commodity, and with a you know what? I apologize, viewers. I did not realize the Flash Syndicate are sitting on a 6K gold lead. Where did that come from? Well, maybe from not hitting field goals with arrows. I'll tell you that. That's not what it did. Bento double taunt. Who's going to follow up?
Bouncing.
The huge blast gun's going to follow up. That's what.
Yeah, I'd say the gold lead really comes from Terry clicking R. I have a feeling.
Probably.
I don't know. And the Adaptable Ape just exists.
Yeah, I'm now realizing it is in fact 2 turrets to none, with more turrets being threatened. Cherry Kilo in the 1 versus 2 eats a kick, eats a frozen tomb. You're locked down. You are packaged up, Cherry Kilo.
Yeah, you know, mantra of Malzahar right now, just living best life here. Happy gaming by Terry. And this is gonna be a turret taken right in front of ISTP's face, making fun of him. I'd say. I love Alawi.
Yeah, great champ. We'll say, not my most annoying champ.
No, it's up there for me.
It's definitely up there.
Okay, so I feel like that champ I might have the lowest win rate, like 1v1 in the side lane. The only other champ I remember in history that I swear I had a worse win rate against was old Volley Bear.
Oh, old
Volley Bear. When he pops passive, I was always so mad.
That's a good one. That's a classic.
Yeah, so that's a little bit OG trivia on my part.
We're doing a lot of trivia in this game 3. I like it. Smallest unit size champions of the game.
I have another piece of trivia on that real quick, just while we're on the
throw it out. Let's do
Okay,
it.
so you know how Zach gets smaller as he loses HP?
Yeah.
So Yordles at 55 units are actually 1 unit size, still smaller than 0% HP Zach.
Wow, so he's 56 at 0. Okay.
Yep. So he's not even that skinny at 0, you know?
He's still a little bit of a chonky booger.
Yep, exactly.
Got 2 chonkers throwing it down to the front line as Bento and Joxy continue to juxtaposition here. Cable Cub, those Joys aren't hurt. Joxy still loves these headbutt pulverized combos, and this time it works with the Void Surge landing from Cherry Kilo, and you can just reset that thing on run. Shutdown galore. Not important and convertible cover. The only 2 with shutdowns. They're off the map. They're stalling out the split push as well from Adaptable Ape with those 2 kills.
I've seen this before, either in game 1 or game 2. They're gonna force Baron right now. In game 1, this through the entire game. In game 2, it won them the entire game. So, well, I'm at a complete turbulence here. I have no idea if this is good or bad, but it looks like they're gonna secure the Baron, and Baron for T3 has been pretty successful across the board. So, I mean, they bought themselves their entryway back in the game. We were talking about how, you know, gold advantage Flash Syndicate was. They're going to go for the fight here.
All right. Man United had the cleanse for the arrow and expertly dashes out of the range of the taunt. Bento's alone, and this is a support Galio, so there's no real kill threat here. At least stalls the backs. Adaptable Ape and Terry have to find unique angles in. There's the Ice Claw. Terry's going to go and gets the double root into the self-frozen tomb. That is expert clutch plays from the mid laner out of the Flash Syndicate. The question now becomes how many kills can they get off the back end of it. Great fear comes across from Cherry Kilo. Cancels out the Cub Flash, but Man United's on the wrong side of the top lane. So the fancy footwork, fancy Lissandra gameplay from Terry will get them 2 of those Barons off the board.
Yeah, just able to chase away, and that's exactly the play you want to see, because you can't just let them get the Baron for free, especially if you still have 3 members up. So nice chase there on the extended play. Now, the Baron still goes to the pocket of T3, but with a couple members going down, that neutralizes a lot of the threat of the Baron, and should mean that your gold lead is still advantageous to you. But it is shrinking a bit. I mean, that does put them within 6K, which they were at about 9K gold lead before this mini throw. So definitely gave a window back to T3, but I want to see how they end up moving around the map. I feel like it wasn't optimal in the last game when they did secure the Baron. So they're now going to go on to Joxy again.
Just stalling him so they get the turret, and then they can try and burn through Joxy. Get the Unbreakable Will up, so very tanky Alistair, but not for much longer. It's key to get that ultimate off a frontline member if you're Flash Syndicate.
Yeah, Jericho not able to get the fear there. Maybe could have been the snap engage that they were looking for. They're going to claim up the dragon in the meantime. They're going to go to 2-2, so no soul point for quite a while. Joxy going to get pulled with the soul there again.
Just step out of it, man. Don't take the damage.
He wants it. I don't know. Pincushion, right?
That is the role that support Alistair players.
Oh wait,
like
it's
to play.
Warmogs. Hey, it's all chill.
Oh, that's true, actually. Yeah, he's full health now. Look at that. Great item.
Oh, actually, you know, Ornn also bought Warmog. Hey, I like the adaptation. Just say screw it. But they're going to go for the engage on Conveyable Club.
Yep, they get 1 knockup. Void Surge lands once more. The double fear from Cherry Kilo, and the pick comp is working out wondrously when Flash Syndicate are broken open. There is the Frozen Tomb, and the Alawi ultimate might turn it. Here comes Adaptable Ape, just healing through all of the damage. The tentacles are flying high, and it's going to turn this fight right on its head. Just when Turbo Gaming thought they might break the game open, they might steal a series win, they're aced in their face.
Yeah, and that might be the game-breaking fight. It looks like they want to try and end. They're going to look for it. They do have 6 scrubs, and this is what you play for 6 scrubs, so they might be able to have a unique end angle, but 15 seconds on the main carry here, Man United, so I really doubt it's going to happen. They might be able to just at least grab the inhib, maybe also the bot lane turret here, but yeah, that was a pretty disastrous fight, and I'm going to call out one ability in particular. The Vex ultimate actually caught, even though they were stacked on top of each other, it caught onto Bento instead of Conveyable Club, so it didn't actually give the reset over to the Vex when they did take them down. So a lot of the damage, as I was saying, was just missing on that fight, and I feel like with the help of that reset, it probably could have gone the way of T3 if they burst quick enough on some of those members, so it's a pretty unfortunate on the angle there for that ult. So knife's edge, I'd say. Despite the gold difference, it felt like it was pretty close.
You know why I don't think it was a knife's edge fight? Because Turbo Gaming are failing to perform the one rule in a game with a powerful Alawi. Why does nobody on this team have heal cut? They still don't, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you don't see a champion for a while.
There's not even a Bramble Vest, though, on the Ornn, like you were talking about.
I mean, yeah, that should be a must-buy. So
oh, there it is.
Hey, cast your curse. Right? As we were saying
for Turbo.
Blessing, hopefully. Hopefully, maybe T3 can actually play the game now. But at this point, like, they shouldn't even have been overextended that far. I feel like they take their pick and leave, but they wanted to overforce. And I feel like this has been the trend of the series. T3 wants these long fights when their comps really aren't built for it. You can kind of get away with it if you hit the Vex ult and you get a reset, then maybe you can get a little bit more of an extended fight. But if it's just a one-off pick, you cannot overextend into an Alawi Lissandra, especially Lissandra, because you once you get a couple kills, those passives are just gonna blow up your entire team.
Yeah, now especially with Terry completing the Zanyas, he
-1.
Yeah, -1, good call out. He's paying for the trade. Terry can now, you know, like self-ult, self-Zanyas. That's like 6 seconds of stasis that Terry can buy himself with healing on the first one, by the way.
Yeah, Bento walking forward.
Those powerful blast cones, man, they're scary. Nobody wants to touch them. They'll go flying way to the wrong way.
Hey, that might just be the entryway Galio needs, you know?
True. They're playing around it for sure, you can tell. A lot of positioning towards this Baron Pit. It's not up for another, like, 50 seconds. And all those seconds are giving Adaptable Ape so much more time to just chunk ISTP's health bar and threaten an inhibitor turret. Fear comes across. They do find Bento, but that's a tanky Galio. Joxy goes in, gets a big headbutt knockup. Where is the rest engaged with the Vex and the Vi ultimate? It goes nowhere because Terry just goes into a stasis. They finally dive for Conveying Cub. Can they burn through the health bar? They will. Man United has lethal tempo going. But they do have non-important Terry on the front line. Claw forward. Can they get the roots down? The double fear for Cherry Kilo is buying time. And Man United and Cherry Kilo doing a really good job creating space. But the Lee Sin goes in, hits the Sonic Wave needed. And now they're just going to ramp through the rest of the squad. And what happened on the other side? Oh, Adaptable Ape just breaking the base open. Flash Syndicate, it wasn't as pretty as the last 2 weeks. But they are going to arrive at 3-0 to top Group C.
Yeah, ISTP really has nothing left in this game to play for. They'll look for some damage, but you saw how much damage this Thunder Sky is. That is just a full kill here. And the stall with the help of the Lissandra ult plus the Galio ult is really going to be a big disruptor there, and the extended fight goes the way of Flash Syndicate yet again. They're going to look for it, Nova.
All right,
no damage,
Nova gets Terry. They're going to auto onto the Nexus. Can they just heal through to get the game completed? Shutdowns are coming across. Oh no, they're actually just killing them off. All right, never mind. There's the series.
Yep, there you go. Flash Syndicates takes it, and just well played on the fights for sure. I feel like they just had a better identity on what they were looking for in each of these fights, so they're going to take the win over T3. I've been calling them T3
Turbo
the
Gaming.
whole series. Turbo Gaming.
Yeah.
I don't know where the 3 comes at, but they're not going to be sitting at 3-0, so that's not where it's from.
True. Certainly not, but
it was too easy.
hey, listen, you take the layups, all right? You take the layups so you can hit the three-pointers later. Turbo Gaming, though, I mean, obviously put up the best fight against Flash Syndicates from a game score standpoint, but it stings to lose games like this. I mean, obviously the graphs aren't going to reflect the point I'm going to make. They were in control of that game 3, so at least the takeaway you can take is, hey, we definitely competed the distance against the top team in our group.
Yeah, and I'd say they did pretty well. I mean, as I said, they didn't make too many glaring mistakes. It was a lot of just oh, we played this fight kind of weird, or our coordination's not exactly there, or oh, we overextended too long, we overestimated our strength. Those kinds of errors were the most prominent here for T3, and those are things that are fixable. They're not like complete flaws. I mean, they have to rely on Ornn, and I'm not sure if that's like an identity thing or that's exactly what the top laner for T3 likes. Could be, but that's something that's you're gonna have to think about. It's like, what if the Ornn gets banned away, or they have a deep champion pool of counter picks such as Mordekaiser or Alawi, stuff like that. What is your option? Are you gonna keep relying on this Ornn and you're gonna allow yourself to go down 50 CS every game, or are you gonna kind of change it? But overall, I mean, I feel like Flash Syndicate just had better kind of coordination, and that's really the difference maker. It wasn't any of T3's downfall as far as their individual mistakes. So yeah, well played.
Certainly. But you do raise a good point. It's really hard to play, especially in this meta, with a full weak side forfeiting lane top laner. Like, I know I've been the AD carry player that harps on the marksman. I promise that's not this point, but with AD carries being in such a weak spot, I mean, you saw the damage charts in a game where Ashe and Kai'Sa were actually throwing a lot of autos down. You can't afford for your top laner to be null because marksmen right now just don't make up for that.
Yeah, I agree. Like, things like Camille come to mind. That's a pretty strong champion that can hold down a side lane pretty well.
Renekton.
Renekton still works. Kasante's apparently OP. I've heard many times. Yeah, I thought he was dead. I said he was dead in week 1. I was wrong. I come forward with my statement. I did not expect his ultimate to do like 1,000 damage when you press Q. A little bit of an oversight, but who's really looking at the numbers when you lose half of your kit's like outplay potential?
Yep.
So yeah, pretty impressive stuff, and maybe they do look to a Kasante, because I feel like Kasante would fit perfectly with what they're looking for. They want a little bit of engage. They want a little bit of more brawling, a little more damage. So that's something you could always look towards, and it doesn't seem like he's going anywhere.
Yeah, certainly doesn't. Neither of these teams, though, are really going anywhere. It will still be Turbo Gaming in that top 3, well, top 4, I guess, without playoffs or formatted. They're going to be safe, still chilling, playing for playoffs. But Flash Syndicate certainly showed why they are the cream of the crop when it comes to Group C. Really impressive macro, like your Gold Gad say. And the only point I add to that, champion flexibility. They are very flexible in their champion picks, especially in their solo lanes. That makes for a tough out for anybody. What is a tough out for myself and Gold Gad is us bouncing out of the stream here as we are finally done. The full Vanquisher day is done. Shout out to Tiny Sports 2 who rated through after their series. We are done with week 3, and we are officially approaching the halfway point. Week 4 will put us across halfway of the regular season, but we'll have to get to that next week. Obviously, stay locked to the socials, Titan Esports, to see what streams are coming up. They've got so many awesome leagues running, including some with that fearless format like we were talking about, but it's most important to get back here next Tuesday. To not see us next Tuesday, myself and Gold Gad will be out next week, but to be back for the Vanquisher League week 4. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe out there. Enjoy autumn, the best season that there is out there, and we'll see you when we see you.
See you.